Hello and welcome to the Computer Game Show. My name's David Turner. I'm here with James Farley.
Hello.
Matt Murray.
Hello.
And Sean Bell.
Hello.
It's that time of the year. It's the Game of the Year show. 2023. I'm feeling nervous and not ready for this.
Same.
Anyone else feel a little bit underprepared?
See, I feel very nervous because I feel like I've just got a feeling that I'm going to get massively stitched up here somehow. I've just got that feeling going on.
But not being funny,
That's what
James.
the show's about.
I think
we all
you're
get stitched up.
I think you're the thing that everyone's nervous about.
But no, I just get
The thing.
The element of chaos.
I just get the feeling that you've all got together in like a group, and now you're going to try and take me out somehow.
I've got a feeling that some people are saying stuff that because that's what they've been up to.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's. I think that might be why
maybe.
you're in your. Listen, I think before we get to our Patreon producers, I think this is the biggest game playing year we've ever had. Like from myself as well. I mean, I was shocked at how the draft went out last week, and I've been figuring it out all week. But we've got plenty of time to go over that. We should really start by saying a massive thank you to our Patreon producers. They went full Nels on Patreon. They are Aaron Patrick, the QuickBooks chap, Simon Nelson, Moomin Biscuit, Trans Rights are Human Rights, Dave Ernsberger, Colin Brown, Gazman, Rocketman76, Grey Dragon Claw, Smooth Monkey, Colin Smith, Richard Sawyer, John Tempelli, Jackie Sniper, Sam Higton, Tom S., Ryan Cobain, Yul McCall, Stan, Philip with an F, Fred Fenge, Merry Christmas, Bastard Cunts, Lots of Love Dean, Angry Baboon, and a FNU. Well, I think it's a returning.
It is returning Full
member.
Nels, yeah.
Luke Summerhaze
nice.
on his podcasts. Oh, his podcasts are great. You should listen to them. That's part of the name. I wasn't.
That's cheap, Luke.
Taking advantage of the system there, Luke.
Yeah,
Taking advantage of the system. But yeah, check out his podcast. Why not? He's a full Nels member. We love each and every one of them. And we love everyone that has supported us on patreon.com through /TCGS throughout the year. Honestly, it's been another amazing year of support, and we've loved putting out the shows, and all the bonus content has been it's been really fun to do throughout the year. So thank you for letting us do what we do. It really does mean everything. But right now, I just want to get cracking.
Yeah, can I just say something which I'm very
cracking.
surprised about? So we're not doing this live. If you're listening to this, we're just doing this as a podcast. No cameras, because it's better if we don't see each other. But it suddenly feels weird to not see you. I didn't expect this.
I don't like it. I'm
suddenly feeling a bit more nervous than normal, because normally I can see you. Now I'm like, how do I know if I jump into a conversation? But I can see you normally. I can see when a conversation's about to end. I can jump in. Suddenly there's none of that, and I really did not expect that to be the case, because we did it with a video for so many years. But suddenly now I'm like, hang on, this just feels a bit different.
I don't know. I'm quite liking it. I think it's good.
I mean, I just want to get cracking. To be honest with you, I am. I've been out all day. I've been up since 5 o'clock in the morning. We're recording quite late. I think this is the latest we've ever recorded one of these ones. So I just feel like I'm worried. That's what I'm worried about. I'm less worried about James Farley. I can handle him. What I can't handle is the length of time this is going to take us to get through these. If this is your first Game of the Year experience with TCGS, then here's how it works. In front of me, I've got 16 games which were nominated by us last week. I'll read them out to you in a bit. They go into a hat and are pulled out one by one. In the first round, everyone gets to say what they thought of that game, and we go into it a little bit and to remind ourselves of why we've nominated these games for Game of the Year. And then they head off against each other, and the only way they can get through is to get 3 votes. Now, 3 or 4 votes, they need the majority vote. But you might have picked up that there's 4 of us, and sometimes we don't quite agree on things. And when it's a deadlock, that's when things get interesting. That's when deals are made. That's when arguments happen, and that's where friendships are broken. We also have an additional 4 games, and they were our wild cards. And what we do with those is they go into a poll throughout the week, and people get to vote in which one of our wild cards gets to win. The winner of that wild card, the person that picked that game, they get immunity from losing their games before we start the game of the year properly. The others have their games at risk, and the wild card will replace another game before they all go into the hat. Does that all make sense? Hopefully.
It does to us, because we've done it before, but yeah.
Good. Matt, do you want to take us through what happened with the poll?
Yes, so the poll went live on Wednesday and ended today. We're recording this on Saturday. It ended at 12 p.m. That's a full 3 days of polling. It wasn't one of our crazy years of voting, I will say. Like, we've had some years where it's been a lot of like, some games going to lead and the other games going to lead. What's going to happen? But that wasn't really the case this year. So we had 550 votes, by the way, in total. In fourth place, with 12.4% of the vote, was Starfield, which is David's choice.
Can't believe it. Honestly, the amount of shit. Right. I'm angry at myself because I listen to the vocal minority. And I just sort of realised, we would get all that shit. Like, we would get shit throughout the year. Well, why you haven't go at Starfield? Why you haven't go at Starfield through our feedback form? I'd go on Rollmark and there'd be people on there going, they're having a go at Starfield again. What's the matter with them? Why are they always having a go at Starfield? And, and I'm realising now that's probably one person that's going around and doing all that stuff.
Yeah, Todd Howard.
And I've listened to them. And and they've totally convinced me that Starfield is actually really popular and it was a really good choice to make for the wild card. So no one emailing again, no one mention again about how great Starfield is and, you're out of order for slagging it off. You had your chance. We finished last. Yeah? So I'm done with that game. I'm done with it.
I'm surprised that even Jedi Survivor beat it, to be honest with
you.
That
is surprising. Yeah.
It just goes to show that the people that were kicking off about it were just loud. There wasn't many of them. They were just loud. Right, okay.
David, so you didn't go into the Starfield subreddit and say, hey, everyone vote for the game?
What's the point?
You could have done better than that, though.
Part of me was like, I don't even want to talk about it anyway.
Hang on. Matt, did you do that? Because that's really worrying.
No, there's no point for me. But I thought, because Starfield, I thought, have a big user base, loads of fans on Reddit, that'd be a perfect opportunity to get us a vote. But no,
I didn't care. I don't care enough about it, Matt, to be honest with you.
Well, after about 5 minutes of vote, I get what you mean. Anyway, exactly. That was David in fourth. In third was me with Star Wars Jedi Survivor, 14.4% of the vote. Not a lot to say about this, really. I didn't think it would do terribly good, but hey, at least.
How far did you even get in that game?
Second or third planet.
Ooh, that's why I play more than you. We should acknowledge it is a shame how that all played out, right? That game, clearly a good game, just plagued by technical issues, etc. And just, which I gather are mostly sorted.
Do you know what? I think I'm less forgiving because I just remember that was the first game. The first game was clearly a good game that was plagued by issues.
True, we should not have seen a repeat.
And it happened again.
Yeah. And it happened again, exactly the same thing. So, I don't know, man. It's not a bad game. It's not a bad game at all. I enjoyed my time with it. But, the same mistakes. Yeah,
I do. I will hopefully try and find time to go back to it because the first one I enjoyed, even with the issues it had, and I gather from everything I've seen and even the small bit I've played, this does improve on that first one. But just it's one of many games I just didn't have the time to finish.
Don't you famously clean your slate every year?
Oh, good point.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
You shouldn't.
Yeah, but I do, Sean. 100%, I do that. But this year, it feels like an absolute disaster. I feel like I should actually apologise, frankly, with the amount of games I've started and not finished. It's been a disaster of the year. That's all I can say.
Yeah, I think you should.
Well, I just did it.
Well, you didn't. You said, I think I should apologise. You didn't actually say, I'm really sorry.
Well, I'd like to...
Are you going to apologise now?
I am, in a way. I am. Okay. I'm sorry, David.
Okay, just do the old. I'm sorry if you felt I hadn't played enough games this year.
No, but it's just been a weird year. It's been like such a great year for games. I've played loads, but for whatever reason, this year is just not a year where I've felt the need to stick at games. But hopefully, I'll be better at that next year. Anyway, this isn't about me.
This ain't your fucking annual review, Matt.
This isn't about me. Fucking hell! Right, in second place. So. Well, it's Sean with Coffee Golf, 22.7% of the vote.
I'm glad that did that well, actually. Yeah. I'm really glad that did that well, because I love that game.
Yeah,
and
sensational game.
I'm the only one still playing it.
It's shameful that, someone, Lindy in the chat, suggested it, and as soon as she said it, I was like, oh, yeah, shit, why didn't we put Coffee Golf in? Because it's been a bit of a moment this year, hasn't it? Coffee Golf.
Well, certainly within our community and everything. They've all picked up on it.
It's been a really nice little diversion. And that sounds like I'm sort of belittling it. It's really fucking good.
It's a lovely little app.
A nice little,
It's a beautiful little application.
It's definitely the most I've played a mobile game in years.
Yeah, and it probably deserved better than being a wild card. It probably should have been in one of our actual lists, but hey-ho.
Well, you didn't pick it.
No.
So,
didn't have the guts.
I didn't want to pick it as my wild card, did I, Dave?
No, because someone else got in first, and with a staggering 50.5% of the vote is Baldur's Gate 3, which is James's wild card pick.
Do you know he's won it 2 years in a row now?
Oh, God.
He's a
wild card.
I mean, I had to choose it because no one else had. So it was like, somebody had to represent it.
Don't do that.
What?
Hopefully soon enough, right? Do you know what really does me in? The amount of people that are like, oh, James is my favourite. Hopefully soon enough they'll realise that he is a piece of shit and he just does anything that he wants to try and... You know what I mean?
You should see, I've seen some of it in the Discord and in the feedback form, people being like, Sean got what he deserved for risking it like that. How is it not? The obvious choice for me is about, right, there's a really popular game that only I've put real time into and only I've talked about enthusiastically on the show. Right, I'll pick that as my wild card. Obviously, it's so obvious that James saw it coming a mile off, as did most other people, I think, and torpedoed it. Fair enough.
James is like, I want to save the 15th Yakuza game that I've nominated.
Yeah, of course. It's like,
I want to save the game that everyone's played a year on year. Well, really? Okay.
I mean, I was worried because... I know that Sean really liked Baldur's Gate, and he talked about it on the show, but he didn't nominate it, which I thought was weird.
But I was going to, James, and you knew honestly, I was going to, so don't say that.
Just shut
up. If you're not taking it, I guess I'll take it. That little Baldur's Gate
somebody's got to represent, potentially one of the games of the year.
So here's what we've got to do. Baldur's Gate has to replace one of our 16, and let me read the 16 out in no particular order, just the way they're written down in front of me. The 16, well, I'll go from by who nominated them. So Matt, Jusant, Tchia, Paranormasight, Alan Wake 2. Me, I nominated Viewfinder, Super Mario Wonder, Spider-Man 2, and Cocoon. James, you nominated Street Fighter 6, The Man Who Erased His Name, Pikmin 4, and Hi-Fi-Rush. Sean, you nominated Cyberpunk 2077, Exoprimal, Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, and Armored Core 6. Because James won the wild card, Street Fighter 6, The Man Who Erased His Name, and Pikmin 4 and Hi-Fi-Rush, all go in the pot. They're in. There's nothing. They cannot be knocked out for the wild card game. So the first job of the night is to decide which game doesn't make the pot and is replaced by Baldur's Gate 3. And what we usually do is sort of run through the games and sort of say, is there any games on this list here that should definitely be in the hat? And we sort of chip away at this list and sort of get it down to a few. But this year, I just think I'd like to start by saying, well, there's one game that really sticks out for me that shouldn't be anywhere, shouldn't even be in consideration for Game of the Year, and it's been winding me. I didn't know which one I was going to gun for, but throughout it's been making me really angry, and I'm to the point where I know exactly what I'm going for. Cyberpunk 2077 should not be on this list.
Oh, for goodness sake.
I agree.
That is a fucking outrage.
You're completely wrong about that.
Yeah.
Go on.
What do you mean, go on? Dave, you know full well why Cyberpunk should be in this list.
It came out in 2020.
So?
Sean. What do you mean, so?
Right. Sorry. Are we just going to ignore the whole version 2.0? We're going to ignore the fact that we all, like, 3 of us returned to it and had an amazing time with it, following loads of changes that have taken place.
I would probably ignore a patch.
The DLC.
And Phantom Liberty, which is incredible.
Right, but that's not what's been submitted.
Why are you being a wanker about this?
But if you said
the DLC, you said the main game, not the DLC. Does it? No, it's just the whole thing.
Yeah,
Sean, you are insane to think this should be nominated.
I know.
The game come out in 20. It's 3 years old. It's 3 years old.
Right, but has it been nominated before?
Does it? But
has it changed? Has it changed substantially this year? And has it had a massive resurgence this year? Has it had a massive resurgence this year because of the version 2.0 patch?
Loved it. Yeah? I've loved it this year.
Sorry, Dave, can you answer the question? Can you answer the question?
What was the question?
Has it had a massive resurgence this year because of the version 2.0 patch and the DLC?
Has it had a massive resurgence? I don't know.
Yeah,
maybe.
Of course it fucking has. And you are deliberately ignoring that just to try and get it knocked out.
So did GTA 5. So what are we saying we could have nominated?
What are you talking about? GTA 5 has been consistently massive for about a decade. What are you talking about?
Have a look at how many people the numbers went up because of the GTA 6
Have you got the numbers? Can you produce the numbers now?
Produce the numbers for Cyberpunk.
No,
of course not.
If you had said Phantom Liberty, then I'm like, okay, there's a shot here.
That's ridiculous.
But the fact you've done the whole game, like, are we rewarding this again?
Sorry. So if I said
now it's better.
So if I said Phantom Liberty. And what? Would I then not be allowed to talk about all the improvements to the base game as well? Are we being that petty?
I don't know if I'd have done that.
I think this is a bullshit, bad faith argument that you are putting forward because you think it's an easy target, and I think that's pathetic.
I completely agree with you, Sean. I think this is nonsense.
I know you do. Oh my god, this is brilliant. Right. So anyway, the past few years, I haven't been playing the game. I listened back to last year's show. I wasn't playing the game. I was going, maybe that could be out there. This year, I'm playing the fucking game. I've been chatting to James, and James gave away some vital information about his tactics this year. Oh, it was beautiful when you were dropping your little nuggets of information into the chat this week, James. Mm-hmm. I know what you're up to. I listened to you two. Yeah, no, I totally agree with Sean. Pathetic. You two trying to get a 2020 game into the hat.
Paranoid as fuck.
You really are paranoid because we have not even talked about this at all.
Okay, sure.
No, we really have. Like we both liked the game. Like like when we were playing it a few months back.
Yeah,
we were talking about how good it is, but we haven't.
You're saying you haven't messaged each other once about the fact you both like this game and and stuff.
No, we haven't.
Absolutely haven't. No,
don't believe that. I just don't believe it. I don't believe it. It's ridiculous having a 2020 game.
Your paranoia is incredible.
It's absolutely through the roof, Dave.
Yeah.
Sure. Okay, but at the end of the day, 2020, it came out in 2020. That can't even be a consideration.
I'm fully aware of when it came out, David.
Well, you're clearly not. You've nominated it for Game of the Year 2023.
It's not just this. Look, there are much worse games on this list that need to be kicked out aside from this one.
Well, go on then. What would you choose?
I mean, there's one game on here that's a joke. That absolutely should be. Jusant, that should not be on this list.
I think it's a really, really enjoyable game.
It's a terrible game.
Also, crucially, came out this year.
That is a big factor.
Yeah, but what? Right. So basically, this whole thing about we're not going to worry too much about when it technically came out if we think there's a good argument for a game being considered in the Game of the Year list. Is that just not true then? Because apparently suddenly that's really important to you. Oh, actually, technically, when did it come out?
I've just not heard a good argument. Where's the good argument?
The good argument is the game was completely revitalised this year and is a completely different and far superior game.
It's not completely different.
It fucking is, Dave.
It is, David.
It's not completely different.
Do you know how I know? Because I've finished it twice. Once when it came out and again this year.
It's not completely different.
It is, Dave. It's completely The way they've revamped it is absolutely unbelievable.
Yeah, but a huge part of that was actually the 1.4 patch that came out last year.
That's not true. That's not fucking true. It's completely different now.
It was big. I mean, 2.0 is obviously bigger, but 1.4 was a really big step up in terms of fixing all the issues it had.
No, there were still loads of issues with it. The skill progression stuff was still the same. That was all still bollocks. Like, it was redesigned this year.
Okay, look. So So we needed to have this conversation at some point. We've been saying for what happens with the patches, what happens, do we reconsider? Now, I suppose this is the point where we have that conversation. Like in my view,
if this is the argument you're putting forward, then no, fuck it. It has to have come out this calendar year, or that's it. It can't be considered. If we're going back to that, then that's fine. But we need to accept that that's the fucking rule, which I think is boring and shit.
And that should have been set before we did this.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous.
No one raised any objections when I nominated it last week.
Yeah.
No, because we weren't supposed to. We weren't allowed to.
We don't discuss the nominations.
That's bollocks. We did.
I was seething.
Yeah, sure.
James, are you already drunk?
No. Although, I do have a question for you. Appletini or screwdriver?
I love it. In the middle of an argument.
James. Not now.
The second one.
No, Sean, just because, I think there is room for a game to be, for example, if a game come out in, say, 2022, and then it launched on Switch and had a massive,
So it has to launch on Switch, is that the rule?
No, why are you saying stuff like that? You know that's not...
I don't understand. I don't understand what the line is.
Well, I would say the line is, if the game comes to the forefront in that year and we were like, holy shit, this is a great game, check
Which
this
is literally what has happened with Cyberpunk, but go on.
Well, it hasn't, no, because we've been talking about it for 3 years.
No, we haven't. No, we fucking haven't.
You completed it a couple of years ago. So
but we haven't been talking about it consistently that entire time.
But we haven't been talking about it since 2020.
I don't see what difference that makes.
I just don't know how it can be considered for.
Right, I think this is boring. You just fucking decide. I'm like, if we're saying it has to have come out this calendar year, then fine, that's the rule going forward. But I think this is a bullshit, bad faith argument because you think it's an easy target.
I think you think that because it's your game.
No, I can't.
If you put Arcade Paradise forward, I'd have backed you all the way, Dave. But you didn't.
Oh, I don't believe that.
And that's
that's fucking true because I played that this year and I fucking loved it. I
really fucking wanted to nominate that game this year.
Well, it's convenient that you didn't, isn't it, Dave?
I said to you months ago that if you did, I would back it as well because I think.
But I don't believe it's right to have nominated that game.
Right. Okay. Interesting.
So, I live by the sword, Sean. I die by the sword. That's the way I go. Well, then what would you go for then? What would you say deserves to be less in the hat? So I know James has said Jusant. Sean, what would you say?
I mean, I did enjoy what I played of Jusant. I did fall off it. I fell off Tchia harder, I think. But I mean, I didn't dislike it as much as Dave
another
did.
one of my games, Sean.
So going through all of Matt's games.
Also struggled with Paranormasight and
Alan Wake 2.
Tchia. I mean, I'm remembering how much Dave disliked it back when we talked about it. I definitely didn't hate it as much as he did. We also didn't continue with it. I don't know.
It's a shame you should have done it. I really enjoyed it. Really enjoyed Tchia.
I know, but it's on the Epic Store, Matt, and you know how that goes.
Well, yeah, I do get that.
So maybe we do need to dwindle it down then. Maybe that's what we got to do.
How do you mean?
I just
put some games in the hat.
We should just go through. Yeah, just what you said. Just which ones are
safe?
Matt's games. Definitely safe.
Let's go through Matt's 4 games and fucking decide which one he's going to mug him off for this year. James has won the wildcard last couple of years. I swear to God, I've lost the first game in the last 6 years.
Yeah, but that's because you keep choosing terrible games.
You say that, but
fucking terrible, James.
Matt, I do listen back to the show. You said exactly the same last year, and I said no, it was my game that went out the year before.
Okay, what game went out last year?
Oh yeah,
what game went out first last year?
I can't remember actually.
Interesting.
It's not important, is it?
Interesting.
So, right, okay. So, I'm going to say Zelda Tears of the Kingdom's in.
Mm-hmm.
Go on.
I don't think we're going to go Cocoon and Spider-Man.
Yeah, they're
a bit presumptuous. They're both mine, but they're both big hitters, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We're saying Jusant, Tchia, and Cyberpunk are at risk.
Cyberpunk's at risk.
You're saying Cyberpunk's at risk.
I just think it's given a little bit embarrassing.
We put
Cyberpunk 2077 in the Game of the Year conversation.
Why is that any more embarrassing than some of our previous winners?
But I'm not saying this thing's going to win. Fucking hell no. But even getting it in the pot is like, oh, I don't know. We're rewarding like 3 years of crazy development. I don't know. Don't know about it.
Wait, we'll have that. We'll go back to that in a bit. So the ones I've got in front of me are Exoprimal, Armored Core 6, Paranormasight, Alan Wake 2, Viewfinder, Super Mario Wonder. Is there any that any of you think should be at risk out of those?
Not Alan Wake or Paranormasight. Christ.
I mean, definitely not Alan Wake. Alan Wake's got to be in.
And
100%.
Paranormasight.
Alan Wake's in.
I tried Exoprimal and I thought it was boring.
Well, I disagree with that, obviously. I will fully accept that I can... I don't blame any of you for aiming your crosshairs at it in this context.
Okay, Exoprimal is in the at-risk list. Armored Core 6, we all played it and enjoyed that, didn't we?
Yep.
I didn't play it, but I'm sure it was good.
Alright. Paranormasight, Viewfinder, and Super Mario Wonder.
Paranormasight's got to stay.
Yeah, 100%.
Got to stay.
Yeah, I mean, I only played a bit of it, but I heard so many good things about it.
Was I the only one that played Viewfinder?
I played a bit of it.
I enjoyed it.
It's really good, though, yeah. I should stay in.
Oh, so is it in?
Yeah, that's in, yeah.
And then Super Mario Wonder's the only one that's left.
Yeah, it's got to be in, surely.
You'd have thought. So that leaves us with 2 of Sean's and 2 of Matt's. In fairness, I will say this. I went first. So I did have the advantage of picking games that, are probably not going to get chucked out of this. Exoprimal, Cyberpunk 2077, Jusant, and Tchia.
I just don't think Cyberpunk should go in the main pot.
Yeah, you would think that, Matt.
Yeah.
Because you're trying to divert the attention away from yourself.
It's not about... you
haven't played it. You haven't fucking played it since it hit 2.0 and the DLC came out. It is absolutely phenomenal.
Very good. But it's not about how good it is. It
is.
Yeah, but it never... Like, Matt tried to fucking nominate Cyberpunk before any of us had played it. Right, let's not forget that. And it would have absolutely tanked if we'd let him have that, which would have been funny, to be fair. But the point is, it's not had a shout in a Game of the Year or one of our Game of the Year lists, right? With good reason, because it didn't deserve one for 3 years, and now it does.
Well, look, if Cyberpunk goes in the hat, if Cyberpunk gets past this bit, that completely changes things going forward.
It doesn't really. You let me have Sea of Thieves 2 years ago.
That's a mistake.
No, you didn't you say wasn't that? No, we let you have Sea of Thieves, the Jack Sparrow stories
saga.
It was. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's the same. I think you're being ridiculous by being like, oh, if you'd said the DLC, that'd be different. I see it as one complete package.
No, I think genuinely, I think my main concern is that it come out in 2020. Like, that is genuinely my main concern. And I think we've got to decide then, as the 4 of us, whether that's okay going forward.
If it's had substantive, and I mean like really substantive changes, and also DLC, which has, changed things a bit, I think it should be allowed.
But what's substantial changes?
What are you talking about?
We can never quantify that. It's yeah. Like the fact
There's
that
not people standing around doing T-poses anymore. I mean, that's
yeah, the completely
year.
redesigned skill system that makes it way more fun than it ever was before, and way more interesting to actually build out a character and figure out how you want them to play, and then like all that stuff is just so much fucking better. And as I say, and the DLC is just like, I was replaying the game in version 2.0 and having an amazing time with it, and then when I hit the DLC stuff, it's like that's another level again. Like, it's unbelievable.
See, David, think of it this way: you might be in a situation next year where you want to nominate Starfield because of some amazing DLC that has changed.
Already nominated it.
Oh, yeah, it's true.
I think in a year of incredible games, we're going to get Cyberpunk in
but
as
Tchia
well.
and Jusant are on the list, Matt. Let's not go down that route.
Okay,
eh?
shut up, mate.
I don't know, man.
I mean,
James, did you play? You played Jusant, didn't you, James?
I did, yeah, I finished it.
What do you think of it?
Told you, it's really average.
Okay, Tchia?
but yeah, between that and Tchia,
It was better than Tchia.
yeah,
It was better.
I'd say it's
I don't know
better
about
than
that.
Tchia.
I don't know about that.
Jusant was better. If Jusant goes in the hat before Tchia does.
I'd have to
I
agree
don't
with that.
I'm not sure I agree with you there.
Ooh.
What do you think, Matt?
I think Tchia was better out of the two.
Really?
Okay, so we're 50-50 on that one as well then. Fuck
Christ.
me.
Not even
Was
started
Exoprimal
yet.
in the at-risk category?
Yes.
It is, yeah. It's Exoprimal, Jusant, Tchia, and Cyberpunk 2077.
You played
Exoprimal?
Exoprimal. Yeah.
Should we discuss Exoprimal?
Yeah, let's.
I mean,
No, because we can't really talk about the games.
yeah, I suppose. Sort of ruined it, doesn't it?
yeah, I mean, Exoprimal came and went in like 2 weeks. I mean, Tchia did win a game award, so.
I think you'll find Exoprimal's my second most played Xbox game of this year, Matthew.
That means nothing. Each day this is watched by millions of people. Does make it good.
I'm so sorry, Sean.
So even between Jusant and Tchia, we can't decide which one's worse.
I think
So
out
which
of the
one's
two,
better? Not what.
Oh, well, better. It's positive.
Exactly,
Show.
yeah.
I think Jusant's better than Tchia, personally.
Jusant is better than Tchia.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. The other two
But they
are
disagree.
saying Tchia is better than
Yeah.
Jusant, which is weird.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know,
out of the two,
I don't know where
I'd-
to go with this. I don't know where to go.
I'd rather Tchia went out. Tchia went through rather than Jusant, but I'd rather neither of them went out and some Exoprimal or Cyberpunk went out instead.
Tchia was a bit, average and everything, but
Right, we're not going into the games.
Yeah,
as
let's
such.
not
no,
slag
but-
off the games, James. All right.
Jusant made me feel actively irritated.
But were you irritated anyway? Is that the game's fault?
Yeah, absolutely, it was the game's fault.
Right, hear me out. I think we've made our point clear about Cyberpunk, right, Matt?
Yeah.
Let's put it in a hat.
So what?
I think maybe we put it in.
You think we're taking Cyberpunk 2077 through to the main event?
I mean, I could be persuaded, but
Oh, don't.
Go on.
Fucking hell, here we go.
Go on, James.
You still think we're in cahoots, Dave? Just fucking.
James is the master
yeah,
actor.
I do actually. I do.
Yeah, 100%. James, what
Is this all
do you
part
want?
of the all part of the mind games?
James, what do you
No,
want?
Sean. I know what I mean by cahoots, right? And not maybe that you're plotting together, but you both want Cyberpunk 2077 as game of the year. I can feel it. I just know it. You both.
I
thinking,
genuinely don't
great?
know if James does. On 100%.
He does. He does because he
you
told
can
me he
read
does.
James like a book.
He told me he does.
Mhm.
He's told me.
Yeah, he
because
reeks of it.
I was chatting to him and I was feeding him some bullshit and he flung back some gold.
Yeah.
So,
well, at least what you thought was
Alchemy.
no, because then you realised that I was tapping you up for information. Went, I'm not going to say anything anymore. I'm not going to say anything. It sort of basically
that's-
blocked me on
gold.
iMessage.
What you thought had happened. Yeah.
That's what you said. What? That's not. No, hold on. That's not ambiguous, James. That's literally what you said, word for word.
I know. it's David. It's what I wanted you to hear.
James,
And read.
it's not working, mate. That side of you doesn't work.
Oh, I know.
You're the worst detective in the world. Yeah. Okay. All right. Maybe I'm leaning. Oh
No,
fuck.
James. When you said you could be, convinced. What were you saying then?
I mean, I might want to call on you at another point, like later in the game, innit?
Well, should we make a public deal now? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, but then I'm not sure if I trust you. That's the only problem.
Why are we letting this happen? Why? Sure. Why are you sitting back and he's literally just going to chuck Cyberpunk in the bin?
Well,
Just so he can get his Like a Dragon saved.
Come on, we all know that's not going to happen.
Well, might do if you.
Come on, we need to chuck one out. Where are we at?
No, I can't do it. I think Cyberpunk should be in.
Right, okay. So here's how we're going to do it. Here are the 4 games: Jusant, Exoprimal, Tchia, Cyberpunk 2077. Out of those 4 games, what goes out, Sean?
Tchia.
James.
Jusant.
Matt.
Exoprimal.
Thought you were going in for Cyberpunk.
That leaves Cyberpunk in.
Yeah, no.
Well, what's your vote?
Tchia.
So that's it. So it's Tchia.
I'd rather just someone out rather than Tchia.
Well, I don't think that's your decision anymore, Matt.
Well, they're my games.
It's Chia's got 2 votes. No other game has.
Well, I can't believe I'm saying this. Would anyone like to vote for Jusant to go out instead?
James?
I've already voted for Jusant to go out.
Oh, yeah.
I'd love to peek into the minds of people who like this is their first TCGS Game of the Year show, and they're just like, I'm not sure this is like a fair process. This doesn't
make sense.
Yeah. And also saying, I'm not sure this show is for me.
Yeah.
Well, it's between Jusant and Tchia. Matt, maybe we give Matt the handgun.
The firearm.
Do we give him the handgun?
Out of them, I would rather Tchia went through.
I should, yeah. I do feel bad that it's sort of come down to 2 of Matt. So I think it's
like it
somewhat
always
kind
does.
to
Sure.
let him decide.
Jusant is out.
Like every bloody
Tchia,
year.
and quite unbelievably, Cyberpunk 2077 is in. I can't handle that.
Absolute horseshit, as per.
I agree.
Matt, it's everything you fucking want. That game now. It wasn't last year, but it is now. You will when you get around to playing it, you'll fucking adore it.
Oh my god, it's 40 minutes in. We're not even started.
Well, the good news is when it gets to Cyberpunk, I'll just be like, well, I've said my bit, so.
I mean, not half. Out of dummies being spat out, that was the biggest one we've had on the show, I think.
I just because I've been waiting for it all fucking week. That's why.
No, you haven't.
I have.
I was planning it for a week. It's still a fucking great game, but come out in 2020. Right, are we ready for the first game out of the hat, ladies and gentlemen? Here we go. It's my game. It's Viewfinder.
Okay.
Viewfinder is a one of those puzzle games that I like. you know those first-person puzzle games that I always talk about on the show? It's one of those, and it's a bloody good one of those. So you play as a character. There's a story involved, but the story's so bad that I didn't follow along with it, and the voice acting is terrible. But that's not what makes this game a potential game of the year. You start off by walking around environments, and let me give you a brief example. There's a platform, another platform, and you can't jump to the other platform. The distance is too far. You look around the environment. It's very basic, but you come across a picture of a bridge. You can hold the bridge up in front of your face, press a button, and the photo sort of expands into the world in front of you, and that bridge that was in the picture appears between the 2 platforms, and you can walk around the border and over the bridge and onto the other side. That's where it starts. It obviously gets way more complicated with different switches and different things that you have to do. You pick up a camera, so you're not restricted. It's like it has that portal gun moment, right, where you'll be going through portals and solving puzzles with jumping through these portals that are being fired from fixed turrets, and then suddenly you have a portal gun and can put those turrets wherever you want. That is kind of what this game does, and it's constantly interesting, brilliantly funny in places. So it plays with styles. So like at one point you might pick up like a cartoon and walk into that, and it has it all sort of builds to this final level where you're combining all the little bits of puzzles that you've picked up throughout in some sort of speed run mission, and it just hits that point of being really clever, really interesting. Doesn't get to the point where it's just like, I don't even know what you're asking me to do, and doesn't outstay its welcome with any of the puzzles that it's got and with the overall game. You know, it's over in about 4 to 5 hours, and I loved every second of it. Yeah, sure. I mean, I've already mentioned that I didn't get on with the story. I didn't get on with the voice acting and bits and pieces like that. Just that was nowhere near enough to make me dislike this game. I loved it. And then it's like filled with loads of little secrets, so you can pick up a bit of artwork off the wall that you didn't even think was possible. You can do that and then put that into the world, and then suddenly it changes your perspective on something. It's a lot like Superliminal, but it's a little bit more tidy and careful and thought out than that game was. And I think everyone should play Viewfinder. Just for those wow moments, even early on. If you're not into puzzle games, just go and have a look at what this incredible idea is and how well they've implemented it. It's absolutely stunning. Was I the only one that played it then? No,
I played it.
Sean, you've been playing it.
I played a bit of it.
When did you play it this week?
Yeah, well, I played the demo a while back, and then played a bit more of it this week. It's brilliant. It's
really?
So good. It's as you say, it's a puzzle game, but if you don't like puzzle games, please don't be put off by the fact that it's a puzzle game. Like, I think it's fair to say it's relatively easy, but not like trivially so. Trivially. So there we go. Like it constantly makes you feel clever, but it's not like you know. You don't really come across any levels where you just like, what the fuck? Like, this is impossible, right? There's always a way through. There's always something to try. Like the interaction with the mechanics is so, like, it's technically impressive and also just really interesting from a gameplay point of view, and it's just endlessly fun to experiment with.
Yeah.
So that even if you are stuck on a puzzle, you can just start trying shit out, and then you can just undo it if it didn't work out for any reason. Like, it's really welcoming in that way. As you say, yeah, the story's absolute bobbins, which is a shame. But then it's also completely unnecessary, right? I think if you literally just removed all the dialogue, I don't think I would have noticed. Like, just like, it's interesting enough on its own merits.
Thankfully, a lot of that stuff is hidden behind hidden objects, you know? So it's like you don't have to engage with it at all, really.
Totally.
But yeah, it is. If I remember correctly, it had something to do with someone trying an experiment, and then it was like a message about the environment and stuff. But it was
definitely about climate change and whatnot.
Yeah, it was so like on the nose though, that you were kind of like, yeah, we get it. We get it. You're preaching to the wrong people here. Yeah. Brilliant game.
Yeah, I thought it was really clever.
Sorry.
And I love the complexity ramped up. I mean, like, the last level is excellent. Like, the way it uses a lot of stuff you've done over the course of the game, and I think it really ramped up there. I mean, some bits were really tricky towards the end. At least I found, but not too much. And it's just like a really just a great fun puzzle game. I love the look as well. I know it's quite, you know, the visuals are kind of they're kind of pastel, but they're kind of washed out. But it just really works with the world building. I think it just looked really nice.
Yeah, you can change that stuff as well. Like, you can change filters.
There's a bunch of filters.
For your camera.
You can collect.
That's really cool. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love all that stuff. Right, should we see what it's up against? No? Okay.
Let's. Yeah, sorry, whatever's too late.
Yeah.
It's a James game. The Man Who Erased His Name.
Oh, okay. That's good. I mean, this
what that means?
Well, no, because this is obviously a game that I'm sending out to die, because I know that nobody is going to let this through, because it's what happens every year with these games. And I mean, I've chosen it because it does mean something to me, despite thinking it wouldn't. I talked about it on the show, and I initially was quite cool on it, and it entirely changed my mind by the end, about particularly about Kiryu and about his continued relevance. I mean, I thought he was done, but now I don't think he is. And by setting the game in largely one location and then shortening the length of the game, this feels so much more punchy than most of the others, and there's no padding whatsoever. It's just wall-to-wall action, and the side missions are really encourage you to sort of explore parts of the game that I hadn't bothered with before, such as the karaoke. And I became completely obsessed with one of the songs. And actually, I was going to play a bit of one of them to demonstrate this. Am I allowed to do that? Can I do that?
No. So I'm going to vote for... No, God, of course you can.
All right, hang on. Let me just cue this up. So this is right at the end. Right, check this out. Listen to this. This is... Yeah, hang on. I mean, it's just so terrible that it's great. it's just so bad that it's like amazing. And the reason that I really enjoyed this was that the way that this game brings together threads from two other games, like it brings stuff from Yakuza 6 and from Like a Dragon, and it creates an incredibly impactful ending for both of those games. Which, although they were good, this takes it up to another level. And I know it's made me so much more excited about where Infinite World's going. I don't care if that is turn-based now, because it's still going to be brilliant. And I mean, this is the problem. There's not much more I can say about these games, because that I think that these are all brilliant. That
there's not much more you can say about it because they're the same fucking game. I was saying, Sean, what Cyberpunk should do is just re-release every year with a different bit at the end, and then you could nominate it.
But no, but you see, this is the point, because yes, structurally these games are very similar to each other, but it's the story that makes these interesting and what transcends a lot of other games in this sort of space. And this nails it so perfectly, because it makes it, as I said before, you have this whole thing where Kiryu's story continuing it doesn't feel like fan service by the end of it. It feels just like essential. It's that's why I really think this is up there as being one of the better games this year.
Okay. Well, let's get to the voting then. James, what are you voting for?
Well, I'm voting for that, obviously, because
Okay. Sean?
Genuinely thrilled with how the man who raised his name sort of turned around, because as James said, even not as a long-term fan of the series, I was a bit like, why are they bringing Kiryu back? This seems really strange. I thought his story was wrapped up, etc. So the fact they've pulled this off is wonderful. However, I'm voting for Viewfinder. Sorry.
I'm voting for Viewfinder. Matt?
I haven't played Like a Dragon Gaiden, and I have played Viewfinder, and I really, really enjoyed it. I think, like Sean said, I'm really actually kind of happy with James that he's enjoyed it as much as he had, considering he went in maybe not expecting to. But I really like Viewfinder, and I played it, so my vote goes to Viewfinder.
You really did send it out today,
I know,
didn't
because
you?
I knew this was going to happen. We're in that situation yet again, where it's like, if somebody hasn't played it, it's like, okay, yeah, I can't vote for that. It's just...
but it's the same game every
It's not the
year.
same... Oh, for fuck's sake.
What map was it set in, this one?
It was Sentembori, which is it's been in the other games, obviously, but that doesn't... okay, but do you say the same thing about TV dramas that you watch, where it's like, oh, it's in the same location?
I sit there and watch EastEnders and go, Albert Square.
Same map again.
Yeah.
Why are we talking about EastEnders?
They've moved Friends to LA. Do you know?
Next game out of the hat.
Okay, go on.
Sorry, what?
No, it's just annoying. I knew it was going to go out, but
James,
this early.
James, we've been doing this since 2016. I know you love his games. You want to, showcase them a bit more, but you've got to realise that when you take them to this scenario, they're going to get killed instantly.
Yeah. Cheer up, James.
Yeah, but
you said what you liked about the game, and that's good, isn't it? And remember, you still got Baldur's Gate 3 to go in the hat.
Yeah, can't wait for that.
Remember that.
James, we've got to go through the farce of me sticking up for Exoprimal in a bit. How do you think that's going to go?
I've got Tchia.
Alan Wake 2, Matt. Why is that up for Game of the Year this year?
Oh, Alan Wake 2. I kind of don't know where to start, honestly, but I'll say this. Alan Wake 2 is my Game of the Year, and I think it's a masterpiece, actually. And in fact, at one point this year, I'm really glad I've loved it as much as I do, because at one point this year, I was kind of worried that nothing had really kind of spoken to me on an emotional level, or I've really, truly loved it. We've had Zelda, and we'll talk about other things later, obviously, but...
should have played Cyberpunk, Matt.
And Cyberpunk, yes. But we've got to, it's pretty late in the year, and I'm like, there's no game I've really got kind of truly fell in love with, and thankfully, Alan Wake 2 came out, and that was the game for me. On the surface, it's quite a kind of standard survival horror game. You play as, as two protagonists. You play as Saga Anderson, an FBI agent, kind of called to Bright Falls to investigate a murder. And then there's obviously Alan Wake, who is in the dark place, and where he was since the previous game of 2010. But flipping between the two characters it just brings so much to the game, because in both characters' series of chapters, they both have unique gameplay kind of moments and unique unlockables, new ways to play, unique ways to play the game. Like Saga, it's obviously very much about investigating crime scenes, collecting clues, putting those clues together. Alan Wake, it's much more kind of like your standard survival horror stuff with fighting monsters and whatnot, but then it also has bits where you're kind of replaying scenes to see it from other people's point of views. So both games, actually, honestly, they could be unique. They could be their own games in their own right, frankly. But the way they both play together is really, really clever. You can do it in whichever order you want. You can do all Sagas or all of Alan's, but in whichever way you order you do it, they kind of reveal or foreshadow moments in the other person's story. So I think you can probably play this game a bunch of times and have kind of different moments, depending on which order or how often you flip between the two characters. I mean, there's so much to say about this, but I think I'm going to basically focus on the fact that the Remedy connected universe is what draws me to this game as much as it does. I mean, I really loved Control, but this game, the fact it connects to that and connects to the old games and is meta in itself with whatever Alan Wake is going through is just so bloody clever. And it feels like this is stuff that's probably been expected to be in games for years. I bet it's probably been loads of people in boardrooms wanting to ape what Marvel did with movies, but in games. And it feels like, I mean, it probably isn't by accident. I'm sure, the people at Remedy have been planning this. It wasn't just a happy accident this is the case, but the fact that you can play this game and it talks about stuff in Control, and even in Control there's the Alan Wake DLC, and we've got the Max Payne remakes coming in a couple of years. I'm sure there'll be references to this and that. It just provides kind of more depth in everything you see and play and experience in the game. And I just think that's incredibly clever. And everything I kind of saw, whether it's like a bit of like in-game lore or like the kind of in-game TV ads and in-game TV shows, like it just feels like it's such like a level of depth that you just don't get in other games, because everything seems to connect to everything else. And then you've got Sam Lake, the actual kind of real life game director, playing Casey, the cop in the game, and it's just incredibly clever. One other thing this game does so well is the fact that, as I just mentioned, melds or molds and combines things like FMV and music in a way that doesn't feel wrong. It doesn't feel like it gets in the way. I was excited to see every kind of FMV or no FMV, live action moment, every live action scene. It didn't feel like I was waiting for the gameplay. Those are all really, really well performed, really well written. They really added to the gameplay. And whether it's because Alan Wake himself is this this fiction writer with his own kind of ideas, and it's all very meta, I think that just lends itself incredibly well. I mean, even though Alan Wake, again, narrates loads in this game, in a lot of other games that would be quite cringy and poorly done, perhaps, but this just feels perfect, the way the narration works, combining that with music. I mean, music, we've got to talk about that. There is one scene, I'm not going to talk about that scene, although we have referenced in an earlier pod.
What I don't get about it is, how do they justify that scene? I mean, don't go into what it is, but is it like supposed to be in his head, or what how do they try and justify that?
That's the thing, because Alan Wake is in the dark place, you never truly can know what is real and what isn't real.
I know what the dark place is. What's the dark place?
It was a place, I mean, I haven't played the earlier games, but it was a place he was trapped in Alan Wake 1.
You see, that's one thing I've only played the first chapter of this. I'm really glad I did. I really want to crack on with it. But obviously, I've barely scratched the surface. But yeah, I never played the first one, so I was like, looking up like the synopsis of that. And I often struggle with stories where there's sort of concepts that aren't really explained.
Yeah.
But there was something about this where they're just like, it's the dark place, and that's kind of all you get, right? There's no right. explanation for what it is, other than it's like another sort of realm where Alan is trapped, and my understanding is, if Matt, you'll tell me if this is right or not. Basically, the first game ends with like he can only get out of the dark place if he can write a good enough story about him getting out of the dark place, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so
I find that fascinating. Like anyone who's struggled to write something good would be like, "Oh my god, that is hell. That's horrible." Like, I find that I like that sort of like, look, it's just the dark place. Just fucking go with it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's another realm, but you never truly know what it is, or if he's, or where he is in it, and that plays so well into it. Like, again, Saga Anderson, the FBI detective, she finds kind of manuscripts, and then there's like, are these things turning into reality? If they are, like, who's writing this? Can it be stopped? Can it not be stopped? And like that, again, it's like another layer of what is real, what isn't real. And I think Saga Anderson, by the way, like, she's such a great character because she doesn't know Alan Wake, or she just basically bought this random backwater kind of place to find out about his ritualistic murders. She almost kind of like takes the place of the person who's played for the first time, like myself. Like, she's asking questions about who Alan Wake is and what his history is in a way that me, as someone who hasn't played the previous games, is also going to want to know. So it's like, again, really clever kind of storytelling. Like, she's like the lens in which like new players can kind of like experience the universe as well.
Yeah,
which I think is really good. I mean, I'm sure it's been done elsewhere, I'm sure, but again, as someone who only watched recaps, it was just really good to kind of learn about Alan and how he's perceived in the world through Saga, like I would be asking myself. But yeah, so music, I mean, like, again, there's this one scene, it's a musical scene, that's all I'm going to say, but like, there were very few other studios, I think, that could pull that off. Like, it requires such confidence, such kind of belief in what you're doing. It's not really played for jokes or for laughs. It is very serious, but in a way that, if you actually understand what's happening, it's just kind of, bonkers. But again, that also plays into the Remedy connected universe. The fact that all these other things are happening, you're not sure if they're real or not. They link with other games. It's like it's a bit of a whirlwind. But I think that's how the fact they combine music, FMV, real life action, all that stuff, it just works incredibly, incredibly well. And then it's like, actually, the game, I haven't talked about the game on top of that. Like, the puzzles are great. Like, these nursery rhyme puzzles, it looks stunning. It's got really fantastic and horrendously scary, for me at least, survival horror action, which, it was like, kept me tense throughout most of the game, but it was enough to keep me playing, or like the kind of action and adventure was enough to keep me playing, and the intrigue. Like, yeah, the music's great, like the kind of in-game kind of bands, it all works. And I think through like clever storytelling, music, are meta narratives, I think it generally is a masterpiece. And like the fact they've combined all this together in a way that works is fantastic, and that's why I love it so much.
I think I was really impressed. Yeah, so like when you finish chapter 1, the song, like a song plays, and it's kind of just this little sort of intermission in a way, isn't it? It's like you can skip it if you want, but it's it's like describing like events in the game and how or like certain characters' feelings or motivations or whatever, and you sort of sitting there, sort of watching it, listening to it, and thinking like, this should be cringy as fuck.
Yeah, totally.
But it's not. It's good. It's really well written. It's quite a good song. It's like, and I just sat and watched the whole thing.
Yeah, at the end of every chapter, there's a song that essentially kind of, it summarizes what you've just been through, but through music. Yeah, again, almost everyone else, if they did that, it wouldn't work. But for whatever reason, Remedy have got a team there that, or maybe like kind of the vibe of the game works in a way that what they can do just seems to work. And anyone else trying it might be cringy, it might be embarrassing, but they've built something here which they can add stuff to, and it works in a way that I can't really believe.
It's the confidence with which they keep doing weirder and weirder shit.
Yes, definitely.
It's just incredible, isn't it?
Yeah. They pulled it off.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's see what it's up against.
Please be Tchia. Please be Tchia.
It is. I can tell you that it is a David game.
Oh no!
It's up against Spider-Man 2. Whoa! This is a head-to-head, isn't it?
This is exactly what I didn't want to happen.
The biggie in the first round.
So Spider-Man 2 is the follow-up to Spider-Man 1 on the PS5. It is it's the game. It's the game that we all thought it would be, and I love it for it. I mean, I very rarely when I play a game do I not only, especially a open worldy type of, objective based, mission based game, would I sit down and I usually mainline it, do a few side missions until I get bored, and then that's it. Spider-Man 2, I sat and I played every possible bit I could of this game. I even went back to it after I'd 100%ed it and just went around collecting some tech parts, because why not? They're available on the map. Let's go through and swing through a few little bits of New York. The improvements that it makes over Spider-Man 1 and Miles Morales is definitely in terms of combat, not only when you're fighting, but also the stealth stuff. So if you've not played a Spider-Man game, it is very much like a Batman Arkham game when it comes to the stealth. And if you've not played those games, then it's all about fucking around with the enemies, hiding up high on ridges and ledges and stuff like that. And taking people down one by one when they're not being viewed by anyone else, when they're on their own. You can see when it's safe to take them out, and then you can, you can zap. What do you call it? You can web them. You can web them. Does that work? Is that what Spider-Man does?
You can web.
Yeah, you can web them up. Yeah.
You can web them right up, and you basically picking them off one by one. They become more aware of you. In Miles Morales, they had this idea that, hey, what if there was some enemies that have like things to make them look up and see you when you're in the shadows? They dropped all that for this because they realised that actually that just made things shit. And it's more fun to just have a little bit more freedom when you're doing these sort of stealthy sort of sections. And they introduced that you can sort of do a web zip line across the stages wherever you want. But essentially you can do web takedowns from anywhere on the level. It's such a simple idea, and it makes those stealth bits so much more fun. Like those kill rooms, they're just way better because of it. And I think that sort of sums up what Spider-Man 2 does everything better. It's taken a really good game and it does it better. I would say overall the plot I think I preferred in the first one, but I think with this one I still think it had incredible moments for both Peter and Miles. Like Miles Morales, by the end of this game, I mean, I thought about it at the end of the Miles Morales game as well, but holy shit, what a character he is. Like, honestly, I don't know where they're going to go with it. Like, I mean, there's been rumours that this is the second of a trilogy. So it'd be interesting to see where they go next with Spider-Man. But my word, I don't know how they make Miles Morales even better than he is, because he is some character. And I don't know. I absolutely loved it. James, you got to the end of it as well, did you?
I did, yeah, and I also completely finished everything I could in that game. I also occasionally go back and also look for tech parts as well, because just swinging through that city and stuff is still amazing. Yeah.
It feels great, doesn't it? And I'm still finding little bits and pieces, like so that the web zipline thing that I was telling you about. Someone just pointed out, I was watching a video the other day and they went, oh yeah, did you know if you do this between two buildings, you can do that thing where you sort of like catapult yourself off of it, so you don't have to do it from the floor. You can climb up to really tall buildings, do the zip line thing across it, stand in the middle of it, and then like slingshot yourself off the top of the building. And I was like, holy shit, and it looks incredible. Oh, that's the other thing. My word, the game looks even better than it did Miles Morales and Spider-Man, the remastered version, running at 60 frames with the ray tracing on. It's just, you can't beat it. Like, it looks so good that that's part of the reason why I like playing it so much. Just to see the visuals, how crisp everything looks, and how beautiful it is. Spider-Man 2 is... It's not just that, though.
It's like even switching between the characters is amazing, isn't it? It's so quick.
Well, I mean, it really takes advantage. We mentioned it on the show, but the fast travel is like, that is one of the most next-gen things I've seen so far. Like, to go into a map and go, like, load up the map, point to where you want to fast travel to, hold down the button for like half a second, and then it zoom in to that part of the map and you're flying about. It does a lot of that stuff where it clearly takes the tech that's inside the PS5 and utilizes it, and a lot of that stuff has been done before. Like, for example, the Black Cat mission. It has shades of Ratchet and Clank in it, but it does it so much better than Ratchet. Ratchet and Clank based a whole game on this idea, and none of the stuff that it did in it was anywhere near as good as that Black Cat mission. Like, that mission is like, holy shit! I can see what the like advantages of the current tech is being used here, and it's stunning. I'd be interested to see how they do that on PC. Like, maybe they've got to stipulate that you've got to have like a fast running SSD to play the game.
I mean, you can't really run Windows without a decent SSD these days.
Yeah, I suppose so.
It's pretty standard
but I'd like to see how they do that when it finally comes to PC. Spider-Man 2 is one of the best games of the year. It's absolutely brilliant, and as I said, I could have played it for. I think I spent 30 hours in that game. I probably could have done another 30. It's stunning game.
I can't believe you managed to get through all that in just 30. You spent way more on the previous ones to get everything, didn't you?
No, I don't think so. I think it was about the same. Yeah. I think it was about the same. I would say that actually completing the side missions in this is way better than it was in the previous ones. So in the previous games, like, it would be, you have done this. Maybe you'll get a little bit of audio over your thing to tell you something that might have some sort of significance to a plot line or whatever. Here, sometimes you'll get the end of the Mysterio missions. James, you did that, right?
I did, yeah.
That boss fight, can you believe that's hidden behind a sort of like a sub game?
I know, because it does feel like a major event, but then
it's incredible, isn't it? Like, it blew my mind when I was doing that fight. It was taking the piss. That's what I think I said on the show as well. It really reminds me of the Forza Horizon games. You know, when you play Forza Horizon, you go, "Oh, this is just too good." Like, you are taking the piss at this point. That's what Spider-Man 2 feels like.
There's even other bits with the game that are just things that sound simple, but the amount of work that must have gone into it to make it work. Like, where you have...
Don't say the pigeon mission.
No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking
mission.
about, like, contextual conversations, which are different, for side missions and everything, depending on where you are in the story. And it makes...
Oh, God, yeah.
And that's incredible. Like, the way that they
that's
talk
really noticeable,
differently.
yeah.
It's...
Yeah, and it does that thing that when you're in the air, there's a different voice track for when you're just walking along. So they've recorded the script twice. You know what I mean? Like, it's the amount of effort that's gone in to sort of make it feel right. And it does. You know, how many times do you play a game and there's a character talking and then maybe another character starts talking and it's like, oh, for fuck's sake. You know what I mean? Like, or you know, where it layers the track over each other and it's just like, oh, God, it just sounds horrible. This game just does not do that stuff. It handles everything. It was a big game for me this year. I fucking loved it.
And it's funny because it hasn't really got like a lot of awards and stuff like that as far as I know, but it's like that does feel a bit unfair because it just feels like it did everything so perfectly that it's done it so perfectly that people haven't noticed how good it is, if you know what I mean.
Well, there's that, and I think there's also people that go, but we played the Spider-Man game, so... And it's actually, you want to go, but... no, you can't just write this off. This is a significant upgrade. Like, I definitely think overall it is better than Spider-Man 1 and it is better than Spider-Man Miles Morales. Like, I genuinely believe that. I think it's the better game of the three of them. And to say that about a game after those two is a pretty big deal, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's very, very good. But which way are we voting? This is tough, man. Alan Wake 2 versus Spider-Man 2.
This is bad.
This is bad.
Matt.
I mean, I'm going for Alan Wake 2.
Sean.
Oh, fuck. Alan Wake.
James.
Well, I mean, Matt, I really like what you said about Alan Wake 2, and I'm really glad you had a good time with it. But I haven't played Alan Wake 2 enough, so I'm going to vote for Spider-Man 2 instead.
Yeah, I'm going Spider-Man 2, obviously, but like, I'm a little bit pissed off because I know Alan Wake 2 is a massive game and people love it, but it's come up against Spider-Man 2. I can't see it going through.
It's tough, isn't it? Because I hand on heart, like if I had a PS5 and I had the choice between playing Alan Wake 2 or Spider-Man, like I'm going to gravitate towards Spider-Man, right? Because it's fun, whereas Alan Wake is. I mean, I don't think it's as much of a horror game as perhaps some people made out. It's spooky and it's quite tense, but it's not the sort of thing I naturally gravitate towards. However, the idea of Alan Wake 2 going out in the first round makes me feel physically ill.
Yeah, but I feel the same about Spider-Man 2.
Yeah,
as well.
I feel the same about Spider-Man 2 as well.
I
can't see Spider-Man 2 going out in the first round.
I played like 8 hours of Spider-Man. Really enjoyed it. I mean, I think everything you said is 100% true. It looks gorgeous. It feels incredible to play. Some of the action sequences, even the early doors, are kind of absolutely incredible. Like it just
that Sandman bit.
Sandman. It's just like. It's a wanky thing to say, but it does kind of feel like you're playing some of the great action sequences from the movie. It looks that good, it feels that good to play, and it's a joy. But I guess my vote is always going to be for Alan Wake 2 because it feels different, it feels new, and what they're doing, combining all the various bits of media, just works in a package I didn't think it would. Whereas Spider-Man, I know it's amazing, but we have had the other ones, and even if it is a better one. I think personally, emotionally, Alan Wake
had
gets
another
it for
Alan
me.
Wake. That's you barking up the wrong tree there. These are both sequels.
I mean, there's been 2 other Alan Wake games.
Oh yeah,
I
remember that.
Yeah.
But many years ago.
No, Spider-Man 2. I'm not. I can't shift.
Thing is, James, I know you'd absolutely love Alan Wake as well. Well, I was really
Sean,
glad when you said
I
you
absolutely know you'd love Spider-Man 2, I'm sure.
No,
Actually, I know Sean.
neither of you are wrong. That's the problem.
But we all love both of these games. Fact.
This is just a dreadful round 1 matchup, isn't it?
Yeah, this is horrible. This is a bad one. But we need to have a winner. So, Sean, if you could do the duty of
No. Let's not do this.
Because all this reminds me of is Outer Wilds. And
exactly, Sean, and don't do that again.
Yeah, how badly I let Matt down then.
Okay, Sean, I back down over Cyberpunk. You owe me, yeah?
Fuck's sake. Stupid fucking show.
No, Sean, you made a mistake with Outer Wilds. Do not make it again with this game.
The thing is, because I know I'm going to play more of Alan Wake, and I'm going to feel dreadful.
Then don't fucking switch.
Yeah, but then you'll play Spider-Man and go.
Well,
this
is it.
It's
It's just that unfortunately Spider-Man's probably about a year away for me, or whenever they get the PC version sorted.
Yeah, he'll play Spider-Man and say, "Yeah, it's excellent." It's
that's
like
right, Sean. You can nominate in a couple of years. Don't worry about it.
Sean will play and say, "Yeah, it's excellent," just like the other 2 excellent Spider-Man games before it. But it's not. It doesn't exactly change the game, does it?
I mean, I
did you play the first one, Matt?
I played the first 2. Yes, of course I did.
Oh, okay. No, Alan Wake, I mean.
No, I've mentioned that as well loads of times.
Oh, okay.
God,
not listening.
Interesting.
I mean,
it's difficult, isn't it? Because artistically as well, I think Alan Wake's probably more interesting.
Yeah.
But then,
sure,
100%. Yeah.
Also, there's this shouldn't factor into it, right? But there's been sort of rumblings that like Alan Wake 2 has actually done really badly sales wise. Because
okay, well, it's loser then, isn't it? It's a loser of a game.
We should just do this by sales numbers. Actually, that'd be a lot easier.
Yeah, I mean that's gutting. Of all the awards, all
this is it.
Praise.
Yeah, like all the praise for it, but obviously no physical version. Turns out that does still count for something these days. No Steam version either. It's only on Epic, and we've been over that.
No physical version.
Yeah. Is there an echo in here? I don't
no physical version.
It's probably James's fucking headphones again.
So yeah, if in a month's time James is having to kick off the news section with layoffs at Remedy, I'll be furious at the universe.
Well, yeah, but it's not going to be because of this fucking podcast, is it?
These decisions, Dave. This is
the decision. Spider-Man 2. I kind of want to just show you the Sandman opening, just so you can go, oh, okay. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but
you can take your little new musical number, Matt, and shove it over your ass.
It'll look great, sure. It'll play great, but
I mean,
the other 2 looked and played
what
great
Sean's
too.
saying. It's like it does feel like this game needs support because it is doing something unique and interesting, like Alan Wake 2.
all right, but now you're just
Definitely.
sounding patronising. Oh, it needs little help, so go on,
Let's hope
Well,
little
as Sean
Sam
just said,
Lake
it hasn't
out
done well
with this-
sales-wise. If we voted through, it might help.
We didn't invest it. We didn't invest
invest
I
it.
don't care.
Invest it.
That's the episode title.
Spider-Man 2 is the way to go. It just is. Let me. How can I convince you? How can I convince you? Okay. I'm gonna. Can I tell you? I think I could tell you something.
What?
Are you gonna mild spoil a bit for me or something?
I'm gonna
Okay.
text you. I think I know what I can text you that will convince you.
Okay, while you're texting, James, how much of have you played any Alan Wake? James, you played the first bit. Have you played anything more than you played when you streamed it?
No, afraid not, because I've been playing Baldur's Gate.
God, we've got all
If
that
this
to go
doesn't
through.
convince
Yeah.
you,
That's going to be good.
okay,
Yeah.
you ready, Sean? So what I'm doing, listeners, is if you want to find out what I'm texting Sean, I'm about to say something that happens at the end of the Spider-Bot missions. Now, I know Sean doesn't get upset about this stuff, so that's why I'm happy to send him. So, there.
Oh, fuck's sake.
Right, okay, wait.
Oh, that's
Sorry, Dave's just messaged me saying Spider-Man gets his knob out. No, yeah.
it's a spider. It's a spider knob.
There's a follow-up bit.
Okay,
There's a
I'm switching my
follow-up
vote.
Sean, come on, that is good.
That is good.
Did
I
you
didn't
know that?
know. I mean, yeah.
Okay.
See, I don't know. See, I'm teetering here. To the other way now. I'm not
Yes,
sure.
James.
Why?
It's all about the art.
It is about the art. It's
Oh, yeah, but James, listen to that. Listen to that. You know you don't like that sort of speak. Oh, yeah, but
That sounds like business speak.
it's art.
Look, are you going to
it's
vote for a
arty,
game
though.
which is great and all and excellent in so many ways, or something that's a bit more interesting that's doing some interesting things that very few other games are actually doing, especially to this level of quality?
It's just a fucking
James.
nightmare because I do think James will fucking love Alan Wake. But I know I'll fucking love Spider-Man as well.
Exactly.
See, I streamed and enjoyed what I played of Alan Wake. That was good.
Oh, yeah, you did start
Yeah,
it, didn't you?
Yeah.
You saw the Willy.
I did. It's
And you love that, Willie, didn't you?
You did like the Willy.
Someone did actually get their knob out in Alan Wake. So
Yeah, repeatedly.
yeah,
I don't have to message you about that. Everyone
you
saw
can
that.
examine it.
Sean, how do you feel about my text?
Good.
Good, but he's not convinced.
I really want Alan Wake to go through.
I really want Spider-Man to go through.
I know. And I know whichever way this goes, I'm going to eventually play both of them and feel shit no matter what.
Oh, God.
Sean, I've just sent you a message.
Oh, God. Oh, mate. No, it's Alan Wake. It's Alan Wake, Dave. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
What was the message?
Alan Wake gets his knob out.
Say it this point.
I'm not going to say what it's a spoiler. I'm not going to say what the message was.
It's not a spoiler. What has he said? He's offered
No,
you
he
20
hasn't.
quid.
I genuinely, I opened my phone thinking, oh, this had better be an offer to support Cyberpunk. It's not.
Yeah, no, there's no one there. No.
I'm sticking with Wake. I'm a Wake man. I'm an Alan
James?
Wake man.
Oh, I mean, how long have we been doing this now? This is like we're an hour and 20 minutes in.
2016.
Yeah, this is only the second round.
Well, yeah, first
No, it's the first
round.
This is round
Yeah.
one.
Well, like, I mean, it's round one, but this is the second round of round one.
Second match.
I think this
Right,
is
Matt,
going to...
What fucking hell? You know
I think
what
this is
meant.
gonna be-
What, are you going to be that picky tonight?
Just
are you?
get it right,
Is it going
and
to
we
get
can
to
move
that?
on.
Like a match.
We didn't
All right,
invest it.
Okay. I'm going to switch to Alan Wake.
Yes.
Yes,
Such
James.
bullshit, man. Well, like, yes, James. Neither of you two have played. Like, John,
I played it.
Oh, God, you
No,
don't.
I
no,
played
Dave,
it.
You played the first
You're
fucking
absolutely
mission.
right.
There's two of us.
You
that
are right.
finished-
Everyone is right. That's what sucks about this. No
Yeah,
one's
this is-
incorrect.
Everyone's
This is
right
an
except for
impossible
I'm right.
situation, and somebody has to break the deadlock.
Further proof,
Fucking Alan
democracy
Wake.
is flawed. Doesn't work.
Yeah, it's
Brilliant.
a
Well
stupid
done.
format.
Well done for picking musical numbers over a superhero that you love, James. Well done, mate.
Okay.
Isn't it your favourite superhero?
It is actually.
Well done.
Yeah.
Well, now you think you're a mate.
No,
What about that?
Alan Wake's going to have to be your favourite superhero now, mate. He's a guy who
brilliant.
sits on a typewriter
God,
all
that's a
day.
superhero you want, isn't it?
Looking forward to playing it. It's
He's in the dark place.
Yeah, he's
James.
not
He's
even in
the
this
dark
dimension.
place.
If you're in trouble, he ain't going to come save you.
Do you know what's great about the dark place? We don't know what the dark place is. That's what you voted
That's
for,
why
James.
it's clever, David.
Mate, well done. The next one out of the hat, fuck you, all of you,
I am sorry.
is James's wild card, Baldur's Gate.
Oh, goodness me.
Let's go,
Baby, let's go.
Let's see how this went.
Let's go. Settle down, listeners, because there are theories. Right, okay.
Yeah, this feels all right.
Matt, do you want to talk first?
Have you got theories?
Yeah.
Seriously?
Yeah, go on.
I'd like to talk about this, actually. So, my theory, James, is
Yeah,
that
go on.
you have finished this game, and everything over the last couple of weeks has basically been a lie. On your PlayStation, you've appeared offline for 2 weeks. That's suspicious. Your tweet to you
Well, why is that suspicious? It's suspicious because you've sent all of us privately. You've sent pictures of your Portal playing Baldur's Gate 3.
not sent me
a video,
You've sent
no
that
less.
privately this week. Yet the app says you haven't been on your PlayStation for over 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So
that's
you've been
alarm
appearing
bells.
offline. We know that.
The post you put out today on Twitter about, hey, 25% way through, everyone lol, 3 hours in, that's the same thing you showed us last week. So it's weird that wouldn't have changed. And when was that picture even taken? I mean, it could have been taken a month ago, basically. We don't know. And I think the whole point of this would be a massive gotcha saying, oh, I can't believe I nominated this thing, and bang, oh yeah, I'm James Farley, of course I finished it. If you haven't finished it, you've probably put like
I've got
50
the
plus
t-shirt
hours into
on,
it.
mate. So, James, please.
Well, hang on, so can I
this,
put my theory forward?
Yeah, let's
okay,
go.
okay, well,
Sean's.
yeah, you can. Yeah. Don't say anything yet, James.
So I don't think James has finished it because I don't think it's physically possible. I do think
you met him before.
I do think he's done his best. I think he's played as much of it as he could since last week. But I think he's gone private because he doesn't want us to see how much he's played.
Yeah, but he went private 2 weeks ago.
That's true. That's
2 weeks
premeditation,
before.
isn't it?
And I know that he bought FIFA on the PlayStation because the code that we sent him was sent back through customs. So he's been playing FIFA.
Yeah.
There's no way he's not been playing
Yeah,
FIFA.
yeah.
Oh, he's been playing games. He's just hiding it from us.
He's been hiding it from us. So, James, can you answer this question?
Reveal yourself.
How many hours of Baldur's Gate 3 have you played?
I've played about 12 to 14 hours of this game.
That's really
Are you
disappointing.
serious?
I'm serious, yeah.
Oh,
Sean's
James!
correct. Yeah, Sean is correct.
So why have you been appearing offline?
Just because I wanted to mess with you all. And it seemed to work.
It worked.
Oh, that's a lie. No, there's another reason. There's no way that you would sit there and go,
What
I
else?
just want to mess with you.
Why else would
no
I do
chance.
that?
Probably
It
just
doesn't make any sense.
He's probably just been on the anime tit games again. He just didn't want us to.
Yeah. It's either the anime tick games, right, or he accidentally turned it on and didn't know how to turn it back off, which is much more likely.
Sure.
Oh, no,
Anyway.
because if you play, like, the man who raised his name, it does tell you when you're in the hostess club, so maybe there's that as well.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, good point, Matt. Good point.
But I truly
Alright.
believe, James, like, you've done a James Farley, you've just smashed it in 2
I
weeks.
thought so as well.
Bish, bash, bosh, done.
I mean,
you're on the Portal as
I've-
well, Portal as well as console. I'm like, you did it with, like, Xenoblade, sure, that's Switch, but I'm
But
like...
Sean's got a point. Sean, how many hours does this take to complete, would you say?
I mean,
on
minimum
average?
like 80.
Yeah.
Right,
It's
80.
massive.
So how was the 12 hours of the game that you played?
Well, I'll tell you something about this. This game is perfect for Portal. Can I start saying that? Because that's something.
Hashtag ad.
Capital P. Yeah.
Because I played it a lot on that, and as I said, I've played probably about 12 to 14 hours. I can't remember exactly how much it is, and I think I'm close to the end of Act 1, at least in terms of the main storyline and everything. And I mean, like David, I was initially put off by the complexity of this game, and because I did start it a couple of weeks before, and then stopped because it was.
I remember,
it was irritating me, and I mean, even on easy, this game is hard. I would say for somebody, for somebody who's not, very sort of au fait with like Dungeons and Dragons, it's
Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah.
So can you say that again?
I know that came out a bit wrong because
No, please repeat that.
Dungeons and Dragons.
There we go.
Dungeons and Dragons. It sounds like a football team in like the 8th tier of English football. God.
But yeah, so I was initially like quite put off by this because there's sections in it right at the start. It's not too difficult, but then it really does become significantly harder. And my characters are only up to like, they're not even level 5 yet. They're only at level 4 at the moment. But as I said, I nearly packed it in, but then I didn't. And I kept going largely because the characters and the story choices are so good that I can really see that there is something here. And I can see the glimmer of why people are so into this game. Because, I mean, look, put it this way. There was a section in this game where I killed a baby owl because I was worried that it was going to grow up and then come back to haunt me later. I mean, do you know this bit?
I do, yeah.
Yeah, it's like I accidentally killed the mother, and then the baby was really upset, and it looked all sweet and everything, and then it was like, I've got to deal with this because otherwise it's going to come back and do me in later. So yeah,
but surely isn't this the sort of game where actually dealing with it could be that you look after it and it becomes like a faithful pet or something?
Maybe, but I killed it.
But no, instead you just killed it. Right? Okay, sure.
And that was it. But
fucking hell!
I will say, as bad as all that sounds. In James's defense, one of the things that's so interesting about this game is that obviously, Dungeons and Dragons, right? You know, you want to, it's like, it's a fantasy RPG. You want to be like, I'm the fucking hero. I'll be like a paladin and I'll make all the right choices. And I'll, like if it's, Mass Effect, it's like, there's the blue choice and there's the red choice. And the blue choice is always the nice one. You cannot do that with this game.
No,
because it's all grey areas, right? And like without it sort of veering into, you thought you're doing the nice thing, but actually, like it's never in like a snide way, but it's just things are always more complicated than they seem. Like there are so many situations in this game you can find yourself in where you're in, whether it's like a like fucking goblin encampment or whatever, basically because of this story, right, because of story reasons, you are able to walk freely around a lot of areas that are full of people you want to fucking stab, right? And there are things going on that you will not agree with, and you, at any point, you have the option to kick off and stop it. And
but you probably shouldn't.
Exactly, it's almost always a terrible idea, right?
Yeah.
And so it's so actively being like, you cannot just be a hero in this because things are complicated, the odds are stacked against you, whatever it is. And I love that in a way. It's like, I love the idea of, I'll never have time to do this. In my playthrough, which, full disclosure, still not finished it. I'm in Act 3. I'm something like 70, 80 hours in, something like that. My story in that game is full of regret. Right, and like there's plenty of people I've helped, but there was people I intended to help and failed for various reasons. And part of me is like, I want to write down everything I've fucked up and then do another run where I'm like, no, this is going to be flawless this time. I'm not going to make a single mistake. But I'm pretty sure that is impossible.
That'll be impossible to do because whatever you do, it upsets somebody. Yeah. It's what I've kind of discovered with this. And as you said, even with the best of intentions, things often don't work out exactly as you think they're going to. Yeah. But in terms, like as you said, like when you're walking around, like for example, the Goblin Camp, you could kick off if you wanted to, and you could, like there's one point where you have to kill, like one of the options is to kill like these 3 like major characters, and that's where I discovered how difficult it was because my characters, my team was nowhere near good enough to be able to take on that entire campment. Like there's no way I could do that, and so I spent quite a long time just trying to figure out how to do this, and that's where I kind of clicked with this because when I saw that it's possible to have so many multiple solutions to solving these problems, basically. I mean, one of them I ended up doing it because I just pushed them off a cliff, and that was it. And it totally worked. Yeah. So that was brilliant from that. And there are parts of it that I found frustrating and difficult, mostly because my characters, I think, are currently under-leveled. But I can see that once they get more powerful, it's going to come to something. But it's the characters that I've met so far that are amazing. I mean, there's the character that's the vampire.
Yes, Astarion,
and how that happens, when it's like there's never a moment where there's not some brilliant sort of little bit of characterization that makes you think, oh, that's a depth that I didn't realize was there, and that's why this is something. I mean, I can't wait to talk about this game with you, Sean. And that was the thing that killed me over the last week or so, was that there were so many things that happened where I just was like, oh, I want to talk to somebody about this. like like one of the main characters that you meet right at the beginning, who you sort of escape from the ship with, and I've forgotten what her name is.
Lae'zel.
Not Sega.
Lae'zel.
Yes, she's dead for me at the moment.
Yeah.
She died, but I think maybe I can bring her
die in
back.
combat, or
they can die in combat. They can die for story reasons. And
did you kill her when you killed the owl?
No,
just started slitting throats left, right, and centre.
Yeah, he rolled a 3.
Oh, shit.
And basically, depending on how they died, they can be revived, or sometimes not.
So that was like. That's where I'm at with this game. Like, I love what I hear about it, and I've seen clips and I've read articles about it, and I was like, I just wish, like, it's so. As I said on the show recently, it was the turn-based thing that turned me off, and I was like, I'm not really interested in this. It's taking too long, or whatever. And part of me was gonna say, do you foresee a future where this game has a story-only mode?
No.
But I don't think it works, right?
No.
The combat is an integral part of what happens to the characters.
It's integral because of the fact that there's so many things, which is, it's this having multiple solutions to problems that if it was just easy, in terms of the combat, that would completely ruin that, and it really wouldn't work.
Yeah, it's a shame. So it's just out for me.
But that's the thing.
Sucks.
But you see, I've thought about this because I like, okay, the way that the UI is designed, I think is not great. On the PlayStation, at least, it's not confusing, but it's just there's too much too many systems to go through. But then I hesitate to criticise the game because of that, because I'm sure that after 20 hours or so, I'll have learned the entire thing, and it'll all be like second nature, And
just on the subject of UI, like, what does that UI look like when it's on the Portal screen as well? Is that is it doable?
Is it
still?
all right?
Yeah, absolutely. And it looks
okay. That's good to know.
This looks. I hate to say this, but it's true. This is so good on the Portal, because also you don't have to worry about lag and all that kind of thing so much. Really, it's all just it's so good. I've spent so many hours, 12 to 14, as I've already said, mostly laying in bed playing this because it's just so nice to play on that system. It's really great. But I can understand why people like this game so much. I wouldn't say I'm 100% there yet with it myself, but I can see why people like this. And I'm sure that after I've spent a lot more time with it, I'll be fully in, because it's there's no way I'm stopping, put it that way. It's
I was going to ask, so this is you now for Christmas.
I'm playing this throughout Christmas, This is my game now.
There's awesome. And just to touch on the, I've said about the depth of the simulation in this game, right? There's a video that was doing the rounds. So there's this one boss. It's completely optional. It's in this giant forge, right? So basically, you've got this big metal platform that you stood on. There's a switch in the middle. You hit the switch, and it brings these massive bits of metal down and smash. That's the forge, right? These giant hammers smash down. In order to beat the boss, you've got to get him to stand where one of those hammers smashes down and then hit the switch, right? So most people play it, and you're struggling because you're trying to sort of lead the enemy to this one place whilst also having a character ready to hit the switch. But then there's this video doing the rounds where a character just stands under one of the hammers and shoots the switch with a fireball, right? And that knocks the switch and makes it come down and hits the enemy, and hooray. And everyone's like, oh yeah, that's really cool. Let's use the fireball. It's no, watch it again. What she does is the character that stood under the hammer thing drops a health potion on the floor first, so that when she shoots the switch with the fireball, the hammer comes down, it squashes and kills her character, but because there is also a health potion there, it smashes the health potion, which means that anyone on the floor in that area gets the benefits of the health potion. So she's smashed onto this health potion, so she dies and then is immediately healed by the smashed health potion on the floor, which is daft, but that's the level to which it is simulating the interactions with objects in the world, and it's fucking nuts.
Yeah,
I
that's
mean,
nuts.
you get that just from the fact of just like everything seems to have hit points in this game,
Yeah.
which kind of indicates that you could really monkey with things, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
What's
this
it up
game
against?
sounds amazing. This is one of my biggest regrets of the year, not getting to play this, but other things happened. But this is a game that is winning every award. Everyone's raving about how expansive it is. I mean, everything you've said tonight, James, everything you said before, Sean, and you, David, just gets me excited to play this. And I do want to, and it's like a big regret that I haven't had a chance to kind of try it this year.
All right, well, let's see what it's up against. You ready? Next one out of the hat.
It's got to be.
HiFi-Rush.
Ooh.
This is an interesting matchup.
Yeah.
James and
Farley.
James.
Yeah, this won't take long.
James on James action. Oh, James, what?
Well, no, because this one, okay. Choosing this game, this was a backup on my list. Like, absolutely, it was. Like, this was not in my top 4, as it were. But then,
All right, okay. What a start!
Wow. It's true, and the game itself came out of nowhere, and it does have an interesting style. It's got the pacing and the combat diversity.
The announcement was brilliant, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
it was,
When
to
the announcement was, look at this insane game. It's out now. What? Yeah, that was crazy.
They did a Sega Saturn, but with like a nicer sort of result from
good
it,
game.
which is pretty good.
Let's not slag off the
slag
Saturn.
off the Saturn.
What is happening? Starfield every bloody week we're out.
Matt, this is the prick that goes on about how much he loves the Dreamcast. Honestly, shut up, James.
VMUs were good. But no, I mean, this is like a rhythm action fighting game, which sounds like it probably shouldn't work, but it kind of does. And aside from the parrying, which I completely sucked at like throughout the entire game, but it feels very satisfying to nail the rhythm-based fighting and mixing up the combos to the music, which is also excellent. I mean, I spent most of the game waiting to hear. I think it was a Swan song that there was supposed to be in this game, and you were like waiting for it the whole game. Yeah, it's in the credits. Sorry, that's a spoiler.
Really?
But
Oh, fuck. Oh,
Yeah.
I probably won't bother playing it now.
Yeah, I was quite disappointed by that, but it's really good. But I mean, it does a pretty good job of telling a story where you got you got this team coming together to fight oppression, and it doesn't feel false that they're together. Mm-hmm. The characters are all pretty likable, and I mean, the main reason I chose this,
pretty good job, pretty likable.
Yeah.
Game of the year.
There's like a lot of qualifiers in.
No, but the thing about the main reason I chose this though, still to be on my list, was that this. I mean, there's a lot of sequels in all our, in what we've got here, and there's been a lot of sequels that have come out this year, really good ones. Like a lot of them have been really good, but I think this still gets some praise for getting so much right the first time. Mm-hmm. And there's so much that's good about this, and I hope that there's going to be more of them. But maybe there won't be. I'm not sure. But yeah, I enjoyed it. It's a good game, but it's not Baldur's Gate 3. Sorry,
It's not what?
Baldur's Gate 3. There you go. How'd you say that? Is that right?
James,
Yeah.
name the N64 Zelda game that come out now.
It's Ocarina of Time.
Yeah.
Now, remind everyone how I taught you how to do it in the week, didn't I?
Yeah, it's the... was it cock? I can't remember. Like cock.
Ockers in cock.
Yeah, there you go. I can do it every time now. It's brilliant.
Okay, right. So let's get to the voting. Sean,
Baldur's Gate 3.
James,
Baldur's Gate 3.
Matt.
Baldur's Gate 3.
I'll go Baldur's Gate 3 too. That is the...
I mean, that doesn't feel
the first clean one.
great. I really liked what I played of Hi-Fi-Rush, but I did bounce off
It's
it.
all right.
And
Yeah.
It was a
all right.
very cool moment. Do you know what I mean?
But that's
Can
the
I
thing, it was a
call for-
moment. Though,
Yeah,
wasn't it? It's,
Can I
Yeah.
call for our first break so I can go get a drink?
100%.
I was about to say about Hi-Fi-Rush, but sure, fine.
Okay, let's see what's next then.
Can I
This
say,
has been-
at this early point, Sean still untouched.
I was going to say, sure, there's going to be a load of mine soon, isn't there?
Oh, really?
It's gonna be
Oh,
horrible.
right.
Sean's still got all four.
I really want to get mine out of the way because I want to start drinking. And so...
Okay, I'll say this. You know how we say at the end of this show, we always think, oh, I could really do with a shower.
Mm.
I think it's probably the same. I could do with a shower now.
Yeah, she's probably doing every break.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah. Okay, here we go. So this one, is it a Sean game? Is it a Sean game? Oh, I can't open the fucking thing. There we go. It's not a Sean game.
Fucking hell.
It's a James game. Pikmin
4. Oh, I'm quite pleased about this because then I've only got one more left and then I can start drinking some stuff. Anyway,
going to be a wild end to the show this year, listeners.
Pikmin 4. So, Pikmin 4 is the realisation of a game design dream from the mid-90s. So back then, Nintendo wanted to create a strategy game that would appeal to wider audiences, and Pikmin on the GameCube was this, but it didn't really realise the dream, but I think Pikmin 4 does. I've played all the Pikmin games up to this point, but this is the first one that nails everything. See, with the other games, I played through like Pikmin 1, 2, and 3, and it was another one of those game series that I played and I kind of felt like I had to play because, it's a Nintendo game, it's, classic quality, all that kind of thing. But I always felt like I just had to get through them. And so like the stuff like the time limits, the difficulty spikes, all that kind of stuff, I played them despite those things. They weren't very enjoyable. But this one is completely different to the point where I didn't want it to end. And that's why I think that this is the realisation of that mid-90s dream. So,
all right, okay, you thought of a clever line 2 weeks ago. Let's not repeat it 8 times.
Sounds like you nicked it.
No, I've not.
We're sort of proud of you, James.
I was going to do that for the Baldur's Gate 3 thing. I was going to do the whole James Summerton thing and read out an IGN review, but I thought it would go down badly. But anyway. So this is a game that I think that can bring in new people to like RTS games, and the core idea hasn't changed at all. It's still about, controlling the Pikmin, helping to escape from the crash landing on a planet. But unlike Star Fox, which has had continual remakes and gets worse with every one, this one has got better with every one. And I mean, the core loop of collecting the Pikmin, figuring
shade on Star Fox for no reason. How did you suddenly start having a go at Star Fox?
Drive-by is happening at James. You can't move for a drive-by. It's ridiculous.
That's a fucking weird one. When I'm talking about Mario Wonder, at one point I'm just going to go and Tchia's shit. It's such a weird tactic.
It's not a weird tactic, because this is the thing. A lot of Nintendo games are about like continuous iteration and about making things better. And this one, like, Pikmin 4 does this more than any of the others at all.
Right, but just for the record, Star Fox doesn't.
No, it doesn't, because it's terrible.
Neither does Starfield.
Absolutely needless, that, James. That was outrageous.
You know how I feel about Star Fox. It's
Do you imagine a Star Fox dev listening to this just going, oh, brilliant, I love to hear about all the games they've played, and we haven't bought one out, so I don't feel nervous about it.
Have a go at us.
He's just we've not bought a Star Fox game out for years, and he's just said we're shit.
It's true, though. It just makes it different.
All right, James.
Do you want to make a comment on Juiced, James, over here?
But this continues the same kind of loop of like, finding a puzzle that isn't really possible, but then you have the right tools, the right kind of Pikmin to deal with it. But there's no longer this like massive fear of failure, from playing it. I mean, visually the game is absolutely incredible. I mean, when you consider this is being played on a Switch, I can't imagine it looking that much better on on a Xbox or like PlayStation. It just looks so good. And it's just, mostly because of the attention to detail, but also, just stuff like, like this, like, you pick up like Game Boys and stuff like that in the world, and it just looks so good, like with this little Pikmin carrying it around. And that's one of the other things that I like about this, is that there are darker themes to this game that I think you can read into this, which, maybe they're not true, but I like the idea that, I've always liked the idea that with the Pikmin games, that this is like post-apocalyptic, like Earth. And that's why there's all these like sort of things around and all these mutated animals and stuff. And you're just trying to survive. And I think that's great. But the whole game is just so perfectly weighted. And as with most of like Nintendo games that we've had recently, the post game is where it really is, and I spent more time with this than the main game, absolutely. And it's just this perfect representation of Nintendo's sort of design abilities and this kind of continuous refinement that Star Fox fails at. And it's
all right. Stop.
It's the realisation of a mid-90s dream, Dave.
It's dead. It's the realisation.
It's the realisation of a mid-90s dream of creating a game that has lots and lots of things on the screen.
Shigeru Miyamoto said the same about Still Diver. Like, it's not.
I've just realised that quote. You know that James Farley T-shirt I was working on?
Yeah.
Go on.
That quote is going to go on it.
Yeah, the realisation of a mid-90s.
James Farley.
I seriously think this is the best Nintendo game that's come out this year. It's so good.
Whoa, fuck off.
No, easily.
Okay.
It's absolutely
Easily?
it is. Yeah, it's so good. It's yeah.
Well, I hope it. Well, I know what game I'm hoping it comes up
I
against.
mean, I
James,
put
if I'm honest with
45
you.
hours plus into this game, and I just
Right.
and I loved it from
45
start to finish.
tops.
Yeah.
Right, should we see what it's up against? Because there's one game that's really sticking in my head that I wanted to be
Yeah,
up
it would be
against.
incredible if it was that.
What are you thinking, Matt?
Super Mario Wonder.
No, that's not what
No,
I'm thinking.
you're thinking of something else. I know what you're
I'm
thinking.
thinking
yes.
of something else.
Yeah.
But it is up against Sean's game, Zelda, Tears of the Kingdom. That's the one I wanted. That's
okay,
the one
good.
I wanted. Sean Bell.
Another indie title.
I can't I know obviously when we do the show, right, there's pressure on us to just to really sort of analyze things, especially when it's an incredibly big game that everyone's been excited about. I can't believe how much fucking moaning we did about this game. Like, I know we all sort of qualified it, like, no, it is brilliant. It is brilliant, but I don't know, man.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think you're right. It's the problem with reviewing a game like this on a show like ours is that saying, yeah, it's Zelda, it's that game you all know and love, and it's fucking brilliant. How far do you go with that?
Yeah.
Like, you could say, and then I found this and it was great, and you go, yeah, we know. Like, we know that.
Yeah.
Whereas really getting into what the depths were, for example, which was obviously a big, I stand by what I said about it.
Yeah.
But really, in reality, that was a quick, I didn't like it. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's, and also, I think it wasn't helped by the fact that we all put hundreds of hours into this each. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like, so...
I mean, we all, like, how much... I think I was, like, 85, 90 hours, something like that, by the time I finished.
My Nintendo Wrap said 125 hours.
Oh, wow, okay.
Yeah, mine was 180 odd.
Oh, God, yeah, that was
But
nuts.
I did, in the end, love the depths.
Yeah,
well, grew to love them, so I had to go in there.
I mean, let's actually discuss...
Trampling over Sean's bit.
Sorry.
No, it's all right. I know,
he's waiting patiently to talk about a game. It's come out. We're like, what are you fucking... Yeah, the depths were shit. Go on, Jack.
I mean, obviously, I feel like this is better than Star Fox, actually. Yeah, I feel like this suffered due to the unbelievable weight of having to follow Breath of the Wild. And I think, as we said at the time, I think this is a better game than Breath of the Wild, but it obviously struggles to recapture the magic because so much of Breath of the Wild was the joy of discovering the world. But I think given that impossible task of trying to follow that game, like, I don't see what else they could have done. I really enjoyed the Zonai shit. Like, and obviously I never got in, I wasn't like building mechs or anything. I thought it was a really interesting way to add to that and to acknowledge the fact that, the world. So here's an interesting tool to get around it a lot easier, right? And to discover places that were a nightmare to get to in the previous game, which was the point in Breath of the Wild. But here it's like, well, we know you're not going to get the same thrill out of climbing this mountain or going here or doing whatever. So it allowed you to make that stuff relatively trivial in what I felt was an interesting way, right? I did really enjoy the depths. I fully cop to the fact that once it's fully lit, it's not like it doesn't look amazing. It's not, it plays on the fact that, like, I think if there was any more stuff down there, it would make the navigation a fucking nightmare before you've lit everything up, right? I think it's like by necessity, it's not too dense. And then obviously, when you do ultimately light it, you're like, oh, actually, there's not a massive amount here.
You find out it's pretty boring down there, yeah?
I genuinely didn't. That's the thing. Like, 'cause I found that process of going through, lighting all the routes, and again, trying to cobbling vehicles together, trying to work out ways to get around. I found that really exciting and really fun. And going from falling in there in the first place and just being absolutely terrified to slowly mastering it and being like, no, this is okay. This isn't, this isn't as scary as I initially thought. And I really enjoyed that transition from just terror to no, I've sort of conquered this now. This is really satisfying.
Yeah, I'm totally with you on the depths. I mean, I must spend like 30 or 40 hours down there because I was trying to upgrade certain armor sets, and the only way to do that was
lost. You were walking up cliffs you couldn't get over. I know.
The whole like walk up cliffs thing was a bit annoying, but I was trying to upgrade certain armor sets. They required me to kill certain monsters that were like spawning in the depths, and even when I finished the game, I went back, or when I finished the story of Tears of the Kingdom, I went back and then had to get every one of the routes in the depths because I just felt compelled to do that.
Yeah, and like the fact that like some of us like literally fell into it by accident or whatever, and some people were like 30 hours in and had no idea what we were talking about. Like, do you know what I mean? Like the fact that I was like, oh no, I've become this weird like mole man now, and I've been above ground for like 20 hours, and other people like literally didn't know the area I was in was even in the game. Like the fact that all the marketing pushed all the sky stuff, which is also very cool, don't get me wrong, didn't spend as much time up there as maybe I would have hoped.
That much to
There's
the
not a lot of
sky
it.
stuff,
Yeah. But yeah, so the fact that it's like, oh no, also there is like a massive underground thing. I get why. Whether that was like a calculated thing, haha, let's keep it a secret, or whether it was just like, look, this isn't going to work in trailers, so let's maybe just not show it off. I don't know, but I thought that was very cool to keep something like that under wraps. And like I say, sort of even weeks into the game being out, I'm still feel like I can't really talk about this because some people haven't discovered it yet, and I wouldn't want to, rob them of that discovery of it. I do think the sky stuff was very cool, but as you say, perhaps could have used more of it. It's also never explained, right? Like when you finish the game and it's like, hang on a minute, they never actually said what all the sky islands are about. I mean, whatever.
The sky islands were the bits that were blown up they were just Hyrule, weren't they, in the sky?
But why were they suspended in the air?
Why were they suspended? I don't know. Yeah, that bit's not explained.
Yeah, I mean,
the castle was suspended.
Doesn't that all goes back to like Skyward Sword and everything?
James is eating.
What are you eating?
Pringles.
Nice.
I like one thing that this game does show the limitations of the Switch without a doubt. Like it just looks dated. I won't say bad because I still think the style of it is still beautiful in places, but it looks dated. And there are moments where frames drop. There are moments where it chugs a little bit. But to get to a point where I'm jumping off that sky island and landing in Hyrule whenever I want was like, holy shit, the Switch can do this.
Also, with no loading whatsoever.
Yeah.
I mean, I have to disagree with you mostly.
That's what I meant. Like, Matt, that was the point. Yeah, like, if there was a loading screen, I wouldn't be picking it up.
But I've got to disagree with you. I mean, I was really worried about performance, and was actually going to affect my enjoyment of this game when I actually came to it. Would I constantly be thinking, what if? I always said before, like, I wouldn't mind if they delayed it until Switch 2 because I wanted this to be the best it could possibly be. But actually, I had very, very little bugs. I mean, like basically no bugs. I was really impressed with performance. Yes, there's a couple of bits maybe in the depths or maybe like a forest area. I can't remember, but it was like chugged a bit. But generally, I was actually...
Anytime you go into a forest, it chugs. And if you start stitching too many things together, it really struggles with that.
But generally, I was actually really, really impressed with performance. And actually, I don't think it felt dated like I was worried it would do. Not like some other games where they don't perform as well, but I was actually genuinely kind of rather blown away by how well this game works on the Switch, given sometimes Switch struggles to play indie games that we play on other platforms.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't, like, performance being what it is, it didn't affect my enjoyment of it, I don't think, at any particular point. I think the story is, I mean, it's not well told, like, the acting's, like, all over the place and stuff.
The acting's a bit all over the place, but I thought it was way... I'll get into my comparisons in a bit, but, like, I thought the bulk of the main story was really good.
Yeah.
It still kills me they didn't stick the ending.
Yeah, they kind of bottled it, didn't they, the ending?
They did bottle it. I mean, in a nice way. Either. Don't get me wrong.
That's what annoys me. This is what annoys me about Nintendo with things like this. They absolutely didn't need to bottle it. Because Zelda as a thing has always been a bit, this is a slightly different universe that Zelda's in.
Yeah.
Like, they could have stuck that ending and it would have been incredible. There is literally no benefit to changing what they did.
Mhm.
It makes no sense to me that they went down that route, and it's such a shame.
Yeah, because the next game could have been totally different, and we wouldn't be like, "Whoa, hang on, what about that?" I mean, it was pretty when when the thing happens in the game. I'm like, "Holy shit! If it stays, this is huge." But
man,
you always knew that they were never going to do that. So
and sorry to everyone who doesn't know what we're talking about. I know this is irritatingly vague.
We're not going to spoil it, obviously.
Yeah,
you know what we're talking about if you finish that game. I will say this, right? I disagree that this is a better game than Breath of the Wild. Like, I fundamentally disagree. I think I preferred the discovery in that game, which is by nature the fact that it is fresh. So that works in its benefit, obviously, as you said. But also the characters and the divine beasts I found a lot better than the temples in this. I didn't get on with the temples in this game. Okay. I love the vision of the divine beast, like walking around the place and all that sort of stuff. There was just something. There seemed to be more around the corner than there was in this game. However,
because Breath of the Wild was so built around. I mean, we've talked about this before. There's a really good talk about how they designed the landscape, right?
Yeah,
and the way it's like any particular point you can stand at, they made sure there's like a certain number of interesting things on the horizon, and so like loads and loads of thought went into that, and that is you kind of blow past that in this game.
Well, you blow past it because a lot of the time you're getting up into those sky things, and you can travel distances way quicker than you can in the last game. I don't think that helps, and you know, kudos to the new. I'm never using that phrase again. I never use that phrase. Hey, kudos, man.
Kudos.
Where's that come from? That one awful person. Wow. That is awful. I've never used that before.
Team.
I'm never using it again. Look. I shot for the moon and I missed. All right, with that one. But well done on the new abilities, right? Like the new abilities are great. However, the old abilities I used more because they were, like as I said, the binding stuff. You watch people and what they can do with that stuff. You're like, wow, holy shit, holy crap! A massive robot with a massive knob that sets on fire. Yeah, well done. Right? It was like nuts and bolts. I looked at what people did with nuts and bolts, and I was like, you created a transformer in nuts and bolts. That's incredible. I will never do that. And it was me. I was like, right, give me the board, put a fan on it, hoverboard.
Away we go.
You know what I mean?
See, I love that stuff, though. I love the really minimalist but very functional stuff.
But like, there was a point where I was just like, just put little hoverboards about, mate. Like, it's fine. I don't need to stitch it together every time. Yeah. But again, I'm falling into that trap of really talking down a game that I spent 125 hours with and loved every moment, you know.
That's true. I mean, I really enjoyed Tears of the Kingdom a lot, but then also, as you said, there are a lot of things with it which make it, I would say, slightly less than Breath of the Wild in terms of like impact and everything. It's but yeah, still very good.
We'll put it this way: someone in my life turned around to me and said, "Oh, I've just bought my kid a Switch for Christmas. I was going to get him a Zelda game. So should I go Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom?" And maybe I'm fair because you do need to have played Breath of the Wild, I think. But I said, yeah, Breath of the Wild, get Breath of the Wild. Like, because
yeah, no, I can. Yeah,
you got to start with that, really, haven't you?
Yeah.
What a game! What a game!
This is one of the most fascinating games of the year in terms of my thoughts and my feelings on it, because for everything, one
of the only games of the year you played, isn't it, Matt?
I played some more. I played more games, boy. I'm not going to talk about them tonight. Okay. I play those games actually. I just can't bother to. Anyway, no, I mean, like, it's a stunning game, and for all intents and purposes, it is a 10. And yet, I just feel quite cold about it. Like, and maybe it is, as we mentioned, the fact that the discovery doesn't feel as exciting and unique as the previous game. But arguably it does do a lot of things better than the previous game. But I just kind of feel nothing about it, even though I put 180 hours into it and I enjoyed it. I know I enjoyed it, but I just kind of don't feel much for it, which I don't quite know why that is, really. When it does so much, and by any stretch of just looking at it, you can tell. Look at all these incredible things it does, but for whatever reason, emotionally, it didn't connect with me in the way that I thought it would, which is I'm still trying to work out why that is, really. It's a weird one.
Well, should we get to voting?
Go on, then.
James.
Well, I'm going to vote for Pikmin 4 because... Okay. Can I explain why I'm going to vote for this?
No.
Okay.
Of course.
No, because the reason I'm voting for this over Tears of the Kingdom is, as I said, Tears of the Kingdom is incredible. It's a very good game, but I just feel that Pikmin 4 is more well realised than Tears of the Kingdom is, and it's so much. I think it's more polished, and it achieves everything that it sets out to do.
Well, yeah. I mean, okay. Is it more polished?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. It's smaller though, isn't it?
So,
all right.
Sometimes that's bad.
Yeah, it's
Zelda Tears of the Kingdom for me. Sean?
I did love Pikmin 4, to be absolutely clear. But yeah, it's got to be Zelda.
Matt?
Well, I was actually genuinely impressed with what James said about Pikmin, and like I said, I just feel so cold about Zelda. Yeah, I'm gonna get loads of flack for this, but I just don't really feel anything about Zelda enough, so I'm going to vote for Pikmin.
Oh,
all right, so we're at deadlock. Matt, switch to Zelda.
No, I'll someone else.
I know we always. I know we say it's like shit when it's like oh well, I haven't played that, so I shouldn't vote for it. But 180 hours versus 0.
Yeah, Matt, switch to Zelda. This is ridiculous.
No, it's not ridiculous at all. It's
sorry, Matt, your voice has changed.
Sorry, yeah, I sound like a massive nerd.
No, we can't. Listen. This is bullshit, right? We can't base this on have you played this or not, because that's not a nonsense way to decide this.
That's not what we're saying.
It is what you're saying.
I'm just saying Matt's just trying to be a bit different.
You literally just said you played all this time with this game, and you so it's,
right. Okay, James, you're rattled. Right?
No, I'm not rattled. I'm just annoyed
I didn't say
because
that.
of the fact.
I'm
annoyed because of the fact
I didn't
that
say that.
Listen, I
want you to acknowledge the fact that you just lied there.
I don't give a fuck.
Sean said that.
Listen.
What? No, how can you not give a fuck?
Because
you can't just say shit about me.
No, I can say anything I like at this stage.
Do you know what? I am going to change. Tell you what. I'm going to change my vote to Star Fox. What about that? What about that? That's what I'm going to change my vote.
I've heard it's really good.
He's done you there.
Matt,
I'm not changing mine now. I'm going to pick Pikmin. Does sound really interesting, and again, like the stuff that James has said, I'm like, well, as someone hasn't played it, that sounds good. I'm voting for it.
It's the realisation of a game design dream.
There's interesting point of view. Interesting point of view, Matt. But let's look at the reality of the situation. There is a 0% chance that I'm changing my vote. There is I'm assuming there's a 0% chance of Sean changing his vote. Yeah. There is no way we're going to move on other than you changing your vote from here.
It's going to be a fucking long show, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, there's going to be a fucking long show then, Matt. This is ridiculous.
Has everyone done all the Christmas shopping already?
Mate, you cannot drag out the Game of the Year show.
I don't want to drag this
the talks and some of the pods and everything.
I don't want to drag this out either. Trust me.
You do.
This is the one show that you do not. Actually, you know what? Let's just get it straight. I don't want to drag out any show. I just like having a conversation with my mates. That's what I'm guilty of here.
Right, but you voted. But no, wait, let me get this out. You are voting for Pikmin 4 over Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. That's what you're doing.
Yes.
But David, listen, David, think about this.
Yeah.
I know you're saying, I'm not going to change my mind, I'm not going to change my mind. You've already said that you feel this is an inferior game to Breath of the Wild, okay? And you're betting on it over a game that you haven't played, that you don't know anything about, but you just still have this sort of inbuilt dislike for some reason. I don't understand, why you can't even consider the fact that this might be a well put together game than Tears of the Kingdom.
It was all the whistling. It done my nutting with Pikmin 3.
That's ridiculous.
I remember when I was playing Pikmin 3 because I reviewed it on the Wii U, and I did enjoy it, but Joe fucking hated it. She was just like, what the fuck are you playing? That is the most irritating shit I've ever heard in my life.
More irritating than the depths? I don't think so.
Well, she didn't hear the depths.
Don't start slagging off the depths. They've got nothing to do with it.
Well, they have. They've got everything to do with this.
Leave her alone.
Yeah, I'm not changing my mind, so you have to go to someone else, David.
Why?
It's been weirdly stubborn.
Yeah,
isn't
this
it?
is weird.
I like Matt with a backbone.
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 No, I like Matt with a backbone. Matt, what are you doing, man?
No, why are you putting the pressure on him, David?
Shut up, James.
No,
it's a good question.
Because he's going to break.
Why are you so dogmatic about this, even though you've admitted it's an inferior game? Like, I don't understand.
No. Not an inferior game to Pikmin 4. An inferior game to the best game ever made. I consider Tears of the Kingdom the best game ever made.
You mean Breath of the Wild?
Oh, yeah, sorry, Breath of the Wild.
Oh,
No,
there you go.
The truth came out then.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is probably like the second best, I guess. I don't know.
What do you think of Star Fox?
I'm a big fan, Matt. I'm a big fan.
Should be. It's bad games.
Right, well, what are we going to do? So we got two... Matt's pissing me off. We got two sides here. We got two sides here that are not budging, apparently.
No, absolutely not. Because
there's no way Pikmin 4 goes in front of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. I cannot change.
But no, this is what annoys me about you, David. You're just taking this whole, like, I am the leader, this is what is happening. It's bollocks. It's complete bollocks.
What are you talking about?
It's like, this is a game that you haven't even played. You don't know anything about, but you just won't admit that.
Well, no, I do know a little bit.
It.
I played the demo. I do know about Pikmin.
Yeah, sure.
James.
There's a lot of annoying dialogue in Pikmin.
There's a lot of annoying dialogue in Tears of the Kingdom.
That was really good dialogue in Tears of the Kingdom.
I mean, Dave, they played the demo. You could have basically nominated for a Game of the Year, couldn't you?
Yeah.
Only if it come out in 2020. I think about when you get the greatsword in Tears of the Kingdom.
What about
that
it?
was good, wasn't it?
That was good. Enjoyed that. Is there a great sword in Pikmin 4?
Doesn't need to be, because it's all about... It's a game all about...
No sword. Interesting.
It's a game all about cooperation and working together.
No, it's not. It's about exploiting a native species.
Matt, have you got to deal with James?
No, of course I haven't.
Matt, have you got to deal with James?
No.
This doesn't make sense other than you making a deal with James. You've got to deal with James that he'll vote for Tchia.
It does feel fucking sus when you mention it.
You've got right. You tell me if. Please tell me if I'm bang on. Have you got to deal with James that he'll vote for Tchia?
No.
Matt, have you got?
No, I swear, I do not have a deal with James that he will vote for Tchia. I swear.
Right, Have you got any deal with James?
Right, well, that's a yes.
Right, okay, so this is it. So you've been...
I think you cut out. He cut out. I think he cut out.
You've been found out. You've been found out. What's the deal?
Sorry, it cut out. Then. What's the question?
What's the deal? What deal have you got with James? You've been sniffed out. We've found you out. So admit it now. Come out with it. What's the deal you got with James?
You don't have to say anything, Matt, at all.
Right, you're not his fucking lawyer, James. No comment. What's the deal?
You don't have to say anything.
What's the deal?
Sean, do you want to change your mind?
I mean, no. I think we need to dig into
Matt,
this a
what's
bit
the
further.
deal? What's the deal? I want to know what he's offered you. Because maybe I can better it.
I mean, I think carefully here, Matt.
Fucking hell.
What are you going to say?
I can't believe I didn't pick up on it instantly, Sean. I can't believe I didn't take it instantly.
I'm in an impossible situation.
No, you're not. Tell us what happened. Admit it. We found you out. Right. So what is it? What's he offered you? What's the deal here?
What's he threatened you with? What's he silenced you with?
About it.
Yes, you can.
My family are in danger.
Has he asked you for any money, Matt? I reckon I reckon James is going to support like Paranormasight or something.
Probably.
Yeah.
What is it? Paranormasight or Tchia?
James, you're going to have to say something.
Come on, James.
I don't need to say anything in this situation.
Right, okay, well, I'm not changing.
Okay.
If you, no, I'm so close to saying if you tell me what the deal is, I'll change. But I'm not.
So you're saying if I tell you what the deal is, you'll change your mind and vote for Pikmin.
That's what I said I thought I might do, but this is mental this year.
No.
This is ridiculous.
If I
this
reveal
year.
the deal, you'll change your mind, and therefore Pikmin will get through.
Have we jumped the shark?
There's probably no more sharks left to jump at this point.
I don't...
Just tell us the deal now, Matt, please.
Well, do you want to do a deal with me to get my deal through?
No, I don't. Just tell us the deal. Look, you've been found out. So you just got to tell us what's going on.
James,
for the good of the show, you need to tell us what's going on because this is getting ridiculous.
James, if I say the deal, what does that mean for any future relationship?
You know what it means.
Well, it's all off. It's all off. The deal is off.
Hell.
The deal is off. Go on.
There will be retribution for this.
I'm scared of what's going to be ramifications. What's going to happen if I tell you the deal?
This year.
It's only James. What's he going to do?
What is he going to do? We'll back you up.
He's a nice
fella. Come over to our side.
Okay, if I tell you the deal, will you two back me on a game in the future?
Possibly. I'm not going to.
Depends what the game is.
I'm not going to commit to that. Go on. What was the deal?
Okay. Well, in the interest of time, James, I'm going to have to say something because we'll be all night otherwise. So I asked James to vote on one of my games, and
which one?
Alan Wake 2.
And in return for that, Alan
Wake 2.
I agreed to pledge my support for one of his titles, being Pikmin.
Alan Wake 2.
Yeah.
Fuck's sake, boys. Honestly, this is a joke. We get into so much shit over this. We get sometimes it ruins my Christmas. How much shit we get in over Game of the Year. Spider-Man 2 is like one of the big games of the year, and it's out because you wanted to get Pikmin 4 through, James.
I'm not confirming or denying any of this.
Right, well, we know. I'm sorry, you're standing there completely guilty, and all the evidence is laid out in front of you, and going, well, it could have been something else. Matt, change your vote now.
If I change my vote, then
I'm absolutely
then Alan Wake is
this.
dead in the next round.
I mean,
unless you two,
it struggled with the first round, so.
But it deserves fucking more.
Only got through round one because of a fucking deal.
Why does no one make deals with me? Like it really.
I'm feeling left out in the cold. I'll drop you a message there.
You're still in bed with James. Matt, change your vote.
Okay, and if I do that, then Alan Wake is dead.
Well, not necessarily. It's through.
He's in the dark place. He's fine.
Well, it's a tough one, James, because Dave's not going to change his mind.
Change your vote, please, Matt.
I'd love to know what James is messaging Matt.
I know.
Obscenity.
Just
don't
pictures
you
of his.
fucking dare.
I'm just sitting here thinking. I'm curious to see what Matt's going to do and what the consequences are going to be for that.
What sort of character is Matt Murray?
Matt, stand up for yourself. Switch your vote.
I mean,
stand up for yourself and do what I...
Shut up! Sean, I'm on your fucking side, you idiot.
That's exactly what this is. This is all
thank you, Sean. I'm not changing my mind. Up yours, David. Move next.
Funny. No.
I mean, you're going to have to, because we know now. Yep. So you're going to have to.
Doesn't mean anything if you know.
Listen. The only way we go ahead is if you change your vote. It's not... That's it. Sean and I know the deal now. It's done. It's over. You've been rumbled.
Let's get red to rumble, as someone once said.
Don't try and put a pun out to buy some time.
I was referencing James's typo.
I only noticed that a few minutes ago.
Let's get red to rumble when he tweeted that before.
And then you replied to that, and I just thought, what's wrong with that? And then I just realised it's because I typed it wrong.
Come on, Matt.
But I don't think I want to change my mind, actually.
Matt, just do it. Come on, we got to move on.
Just do it.
Here
all night.
Okay, I'm sorry, James. I'm going to change my mind.
Yes.
Excellent.
Because
Pikmin 4 is out.
But hang on, I haven't done it yet. I'm saying I'm gonna have to consider that.
You've announced your intention.
Because
oh my god.
others will be here all day, and we've all got homes to go to.
You've said that 4 times. You're not dragging this out. It's right. Just to explain, listeners, we've just ticked over to 11 o'clock in the evening.
12 o'clock.
We're not even
round 1.
We're not even halfway through round 1 yet.
Fuck off, are we not?
No.
Oh my god.
Okay, I'm sorry, James. I'm going to have to do this because this podcast has gone far too long, and I would hereby like to switch my vote to support The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom.
It's all right. I mean, I'm sorry too, Matt.
For what's about to happen.
I cannot believe people are scared of James Farley. Next one out of the hat is this has been a wild year. I actually feel sick. Sean, Armored Core 6. Yep. Why is that in the hat?
Armored Core 6 is in the hat because I think it's fucking brilliant. Obviously played it a bit when it first came out, and then I sort of dropped off because it's incredibly fucking intense, and I didn't have the capacity for it when it first came out. Went back to it the other week and finished it in like a couple of nights because I became completely obsessed with it all over again. I mean, I was waiting freaking 10 years for this game, so you might hear that and think, oh well, you had to like it then, surely. Last Guardian says hello. So it wasn't a given. Obviously, I was really excited to see.
It worked for me, Sean. It worked for me.
It worked for some people, didn't it? Yeah.
Oh, right, okay.
The dog thing did everything I said. I was looking after it. I was looking after it as well. Fuck off. Yeah, like obviously, I was excited to see what From Software would bring back to Armored Core. Revisiting the series after all this time, with after all the success of the Soul series and Bloodborne and Elden Ring, etc., and you do feel that like it is just like I was saying on the show, like really glad that it's won best action game at the Game Awards.
Yeah,
Jeff Keighley's never wrong about anything. Like it is like the combat in this game is just fucking razor sharp. Like it's the way the sound design and the interface and everything keeps you informed about everything that is going on. And it's just, to someone who doesn't play the game, it's just incomprehensible, right? It's just like fucking lasers and bullets flying everywhere, like warning sirens going off, and just this robot on the screen just flying around, dashing constantly. And but as the player, you learn to read that, and you develop, like, it feels like a sort of a sixth sense whenever you're playing it. The way you learn to anticipate things and deal with all different enemy types, whether it's like basic shitty tanks all the way up to like other mechs that are just as capable as you, all the way up to like fucking like airships and stuff like later on in the game. It's like the customization stuff, obviously it's a series staple that is still alive and well, like the depth you can get into in terms of customizing your mechs and like constantly tweaking them between missions, having like different sort of builds for sort of different styles of play and like tweaking them as you go and sort of refining them, unlocking new parts, buying new parts, and sort of thinking, well, actually that sort of fulfills the same purpose as something I had previously, but maybe slightly differently or slightly better. Let's try that out. Constantly iterating on those designs and working out different ways of playing and different ways of overcoming certain obstacles. The story gets really good. I did, like, when I first sort of drifted away from it, I think I was still in chapter 2, and things were happening, but none of it was making a huge amount of sense. The way the story is told is pretty old school. It's just voice clips, basically, between missions. But it starts bringing more of that into the missions themselves, and you start getting to make decisions about which missions you take. You always have, chapters 1 and 2, there'll be like maybe 3 or 4 missions on the table at any one time, and you can pick them. But basically, it's a case of like, you're going to do all of these eventually. But it starts marking out certain missions as like, no, this is a choice, this one. Like, and by doing this one, you're locking yourself off from certain other things. And that, in turn, affects the story, and it affects the way certain characters treat you and talk about you and stuff. It does, and there's like a fucking brilliant twist. It's like a series staple with Armored Core that like there will be pilots that you actually like start getting on with, right? And there's a bit of camaraderie there and stuff, and there'll be like another mercenary, or they'll work for a certain corporation or whatever, but circumstances sort of bring you together, and then inevitably you end up fighting them, right? And that's happened in a lot of Armored Core games. This, again, depending on choices you make, can turn that on its head in like the best way possible. Like there are like some of the boss fights, the sheer spectacle of them is just unbelievable. Which again, it's something they've really taken from, FromSoft's other work. Like this wasn't really a thing in previous Armored Core games. You would come up against other robots like you, whereas in this, there's all sorts of weird and wonderful things that like you have to face off against, and there are like really cool scripted bits that work really well, but they gel perfectly with like just you like playing the way you normally would. It's really fucking good. The soundtrack is like on its own 95% unlistenable, but in the game it's reinforcing this feeling of like you're this mech pilot and you're being plugged into this robot, and basically your life is like 20 minutes in a mission just being fucking traumatized, and like just your mind's just getting absolutely shredded by the things you're having to do. And then and then you're in this like hangar again, and it's like you're basically just a shell of a person, and you feel like that after a long session on it, right? Like I don't think it's like certainly not as difficult as like some of the Souls games.
Oh no,
but the way it makes you feel after a long session, it's like, yeah, I've been in a fucking war. I know what it's like,
right.
Which is ridiculous. But it like you feel that like exhaustion and that sort of, I don't know, man. It's just a really specific feeling they've gone for, and again, the soundtrack really reinforces.
I got that from Pikmin 4, but no one cares about that.
Can you stop talking about fucking Pikmin 4, please?
Yeah, and like the fact that like New Game Plus, really interesting. Like the game doesn't have a hard mode, right? But what it does do, so there's multiple endings. Obviously, not going to spoil anything, but there's another ending you can only get through New Game Plus, and only through making certain decisions, but it opens up more decisions. So very early on in New Game Plus, you're doing a mission that you've done previously, and you're fighting alongside like some guys from this one particular corporation. And when you first play the game, you do the mission and then it's over, and then that's fine. New Game Plus, you get a call from like another faction, and they're like, "We'll pay you double if you take these guys out." And you can screw over the people you're supposed to be fighting alongside. And it starts just chucking in stuff like that, where you're like, oh shit, what the fuck? And basically taking those decisions, A, unlocks the other ending, and B, like those are like your hard mode decisions, because turning your back on those people and fighting them is really fucking difficult. So that's how it sort of adds that difficulty and that complexity in New Game Plus. Yeah, I fully got obsessed with this over the last few weeks. Like watching lore videos and shit. It's got all that stuff, all the FromSoft, like, little sort of hints of story that actually that you can find in the world or whatever, or little bits of dialogue that don't necessarily mean anything initially, but actually once you start, charting everything out and linking things together, there is actually a huge narrative there, which I really wasn't expecting, because it's really not obvious at first.
I did struggle with the structure of it, though. I did.
Yeah.
Going back to do mission, suddenly you're out of the mission. There was I mentioned it on the show. There's no attempt to explain how you go from that hangar in the menu to the world. You just appear in the world,
or even what that hangar
disappear.
is.
Yeah, So I felt it could have done that. And I'm kind of surprised it didn't.
Yeah, because it's not like it was a budgetary concern, is it?
No, it's just a stylistic choice. I think that's going to be my biggest bugbear going forward with games that are being revived and all this sort of stuff. I sort of mentioned it when we were talking about the possibility of Banjo-Kazooie coming back, and I was thinking, don't recreate a Banjo-Kazooie game. Don't do that. No one wants that anymore. Do something new and interesting with it. And I do worry that when big franchises come back, or big well-known and game series come back, there's going to be too much emphasis on, but we've got to make it feel like it did in the 90s. No, you don't. No, you don't. Let's not do that. But it was a minor gripe. Like, the combat is absolutely incredible. It is so much fun to just whiz about and taking down that big juggernaut thing was amazing. And yeah, it's a good game. This is a good game. Should we see what it's up against?
Yes.
Yeah.
Here we go. Next one out of the hat is Matt and Tchia. Why the fuck is this in the hat,
Matt?
Matt?
To laugh. Tchia, what the fuck is
Sorry, I laughed because obviously I'm sitting here thinking like it's going to be fucking Cyberpunk. I know it's going to be Cyberpunk. That's why I laughed. It was relief.
Can I just say at this point, I way underestimated James Farley in this year. I way underestimated him. I didn't think he'd be going like the Alan Wake thing has taken me by surprise. Actually, it's knocked me a little bit, but I think your evolution to supervillain, James, is finally complete with that fucking laugh, mate. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, the cackling.
So it's funny, right? Because I never would have voted for Armored Core, but then I absolutely am going to vote for Armored Core.
I'm absolutely going to vote for it.
I'm absolutely going to vote for it. Fucking hell.
I'll tell you what, I need some cheese. Go on.
You need to crack the code first. Tchia has been unfairly maligned on this podcast just because David didn't like it, but Tchia is an excellent game.
It's not.
Yeah, okay. Let's start with a slight negative. Like, Tchia doesn't change the world, but for whatever reason, this was like a massive comfort game for me this year. You know, so you play as Tchia. It's like an open world adventure on this like gorgeous tropical island. There's a lot of Moana vibes if you enjoy the movie like I do. She's off to rescue her father. It's a pretty simplistic story, but it wasn't about that. For me, it's just about kind of enjoying the landscape and traversing it. It's just a really nice, relaxing game.
Pretty sparse though, isn't it? Like that landscape.
Well, I mean, yeah, it's not incredibly dense in terms of things to do, but there was this game. It just was incredibly relaxing and was just a lovely thing for me to kind of turn my brain off and play. I'm not saying that this is going to change the world. I'm not saying it's like a better open world game than Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom. Obviously, I'm not doing that, but I think what it did do, I really, really appreciated. You can kind of, as well as obviously gliding around the island and whatnot, you can also change into different animals. You can change into like frogs or birds and stuff. So to get around in a different way after playing a ukulele, which is also quite a nice little mini game where you play a few songs by the campfire, and it's just like a lovely experience. It doesn't do anything too different. It's not challenging. I thought the combat was fine. The enemies are fine. I enjoyed exploring the landscape. I don't think it's anywhere near deserves the kind of level of hate that David gives it, just because he wasn't a fan of it. This isn't a Breath of the Wild. It's not Tears of the Kingdom, but this was a really, really enjoyable experience that I think more people should play. Yeah, I think the story's nice, simplistic. I think the music's really, really gorgeous. It really kind of takes you into that environment, and there's lots of atmosphere of just being on this gorgeous tropical island. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Yeah, you can customize your character. You can do all these kind of things. But I just thought it was a really pleasant, lovely, comforting experience that I enjoyed. So up yours.
Dreadful video game.
Not dreadful. No, nothing like a dreadful video game. Why do you think it's bad, David?
I thought the gameplay was awful.
Why though?
I thought graphically it was a total mess.
It
seemed stitched together with.
There were some really lovely landscapes, and when the sunset, sunrise.
Don't ask me a question. Just say no whenever I say the answer, Matt. It's not a very good game, Matt. It's not a very good game. But I think if you'd have played more than 4 games this year, I don't think you could have been anywhere near this.
I played at least 5. So what I don't want is people listen to this game, people listen to this show and other shows, and Tchia is shit. It's not shit. It's just because David doesn't like it.
They've already turned off from the last. Hold on, what? Right, okay. So you're saying it's not crap. It's just that David doesn't like it. Well, why don't I like it? Oh, because it's crap. It's
just one person's opinion.
Yes.
It's well worth Everyone giving it a go. I know, and James obviously doesn't like it either.
Actually, this show is more than one person's opinion, isn't it?
I mean, okay, I played this game. It's fine. It's all right, but it shouldn't be in this list. I don't know why it's here, honestly. It's fine.
James, have you started drinking?
Yeah, he's drifting away,
you can tell, you can absolutely tell, can't you?
Yeah.
Let's get to voting. Sean,
Core 6.
Matt.
Armored Core 6.
I'm going Armored Core 6. James.
Armored fucking Core 6.
I didn't actually get to talk about Armored Core 6, but yeah, I really, really loved what I played as well for like 10 hours or so. I didn't, again, another one of those games I didn't go back to, but I thought it was excellent. And having, again, I've not really played mech games, not really into them, but I thought it was just really great fun, and loved the combat, loved everything I played. I wasn't really maybe in the mood at that point for like a really, really hard game, but I still really appreciated it, and you just felt cool as fuck as well in your mech.
Yeah, man.
And that was really before I guess I really got to bits towards the middle and the end of the game where you can like properly upgrade and do whatever bits and really have a build that works. But even just the bits I did play, you just felt cool as hell. So
even just the bits you did play, you prefer. It was enough to make you vote over Tchia.
I wanted to bring Tchia in because it deserved some praise.
No, it doesn't.
It fucking does.
Right. Next one out of the hat is Sean, Exoprimal.
Oh, okay. Obviously, this is going out, but
I was against it.
I don't know, Sean. I don't know if I'm going to be able to defend Street Fighter 6 at this stage, but we'll see.
And also, you don't know what deals are being made,
true.
Sean, is what we're finding out.
Who knows?
So,
you know nothing, Sean.
Exoprimal is your co-op, squad-based PvPvE. The one where you sort of robots and you're shooting all the dinosaurs, right? This to me just felt like it was made for me and my friends. Like it's the only game that we like really committed to for any length of time. Like, I mean, like obviously, like I've talked loads about Sea of Thieves. That was like our COVID game. And like this is the only thing since where like me and like the group of people who I occasionally play online with that we like for weeks. We were absolutely hammering it and having such a good time with it. Like, I think, it's very easy to look at it and be like, oh, right, it's kind of, it's a bit EDF, it's a bit silly. Like, it does have a sense of humor about what it is. But there is real depth there once you start getting into like team loadouts and working out the abilities and working together. Like playing with a regular group of mates. Like, we had such a good time with this. There's missteps with like the way the narrative works and stuff doesn't really land. But like, yeah, when they started unlocking like some of the later events, like the sheer spectacle of it was just unbelievable. I mean, obviously the stuff they showed in the trailers, with all the dinosaurs falling down the building and stuff. But there's like like some of the final boss fights are just absolutely stunning. They have continued to support it. I mean, realistically, let's face it, it's got a shelf life. And it's gonna reach the end of it at some point. But yeah, like they've supported it with new classes and stuff. It was a really good time. I'm sure my Xbox thing said I put about 50 hours into this. Just a really enjoyable and interesting and fun like squad based shooter where you shoot the fuck out of loads of dinosaurs and occasionally other people, which again initially I didn't like. I was like, just do as just a PvE mode, but then actually we started getting all right at it, and then that started being really fun, taking out other people, and learning the sort of the ways that like a map can progress and when you're going to be sort of like more in contact with the other team and when you're not, and really enjoyed it.
There was nothing better than being up against it in the PvP bit and then getting to controller T-Rex and just
absolutely wiping
it. Yeah, that was pretty incredible. That. Okay, should we see what it's up against? It is up against Cocoon. Cocoon is my game, and it is... I mean, I would like to say it's the surprise of the year. It was certainly, at the start of the year, we look at what games we're expecting that year and going, what are going to be the big hitters out of these ones? And we say, there's always going to be an indie game that comes along that we haven't considering right now, and this was probably it. Like, this was the death's door for me. What? Like, but then at the same time, we were expecting it to be good. I think it's fair to say, Sean. Like, we were pretty pumped about it, weren't we? On the trailers.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm eating crisps, but yeah,
yeah, pre-launch. But I can't believe how well it. Like, so the idea with Cocoon is that levels sit within orbs, and there at certain places you can jump out of a level and carry that level around with you, and place it somewhere and jump back in, and that would change the environment. That's like the sort of basic, simple pitch of the game, that the levels are things that you can jump out of and walk around with. And it takes that idea and you go, that's an interesting idea. I hope they can build a game around that simple idea, and I hope that they can not make it too complicated to the point where it's like making your head hurt and just going, so what level am I in now? They absolutely nail both of those things. You know, what they do with that simple concept is mind-blowing in places. Like, there is a bit of a spoiler, I guess, but there is a moment where you jump in a level, you pick up another level, you put it down, and then you walk and find that level inside the level that you're in, and realizing, oh shit, I can multiply how many orbs that I've got of this one level. I can multiply it by continuously dropping it here and then walk into the other part of this level and picking it up again. Like, that's the thing. And that it makes you go, holy fuck, this is the point where it's going to get too confusing. And it doesn't. It doesn't. It's so well done. There are moments in the game where it is really confusing, like, and you sit there and go, what am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to do? But the moment you're on the right track, there'll be a little flurry of music, just a little nod to going, yeah, you're in the right direction. And you go, oh, I'm reading that now. Just as I was going to go and check out a YouTube tutorial to tell me how to get through this bloody thing, it's just given me enough to go, yeah, you're going in the right direction here, or a door will close behind you because you've done enough, you know. And there are times where you think, has the game bugged out and left me trapped in this room and now I can't, oh, no, I am on the right track here. Stylistically, it looks beautiful, it sounds gorgeous, and on top of the puzzle element of it, there are some action moments against these bosses, which are some of the most inventive and best looking bosses I've played in years. You know, they absolutely stunning, and each one has a nice little concept. And the way that combat works is that if you get caught, you get chucked out of the level, you go back in, you sort of start the boss fight again, but you feel like you're always learning. I never got stuck on any of the bosses. Like, they're all relatively easy to get through. And that just made for a brilliant experience from start to end. The last thing it asks you to do is so fucking good that it will leave you just grinning. You just go, yeah, brilliant. Yeah, you've worked it all out. That is great. And not only is it a nice puzzle, but conceptually, I'll be drinking too. It's stunning. And you sit back and go, yes, that is the experience summed up right at the end, perfectly. Bang, see you later. Well done. You completed the game. It's what a game Cocoon is. Like, I can't think of one element that it doesn't get right. Like, I mean, you've all played it, right?
Yeah, so I finished this.
Yeah, I absolutely loved it
last week.
Yeah, brilliant. Yeah.
You finished it last week. Think of one thing that it doesn't nail.
No, there's nothing. It's
mad.
Well,
isn't it?
no, there's one thing it doesn't nail.
Go on.
Which is the story. I thought this game was excellent. I love so much, but I think the one thing I kind of want from these games and expect and love from Limbo, Inside, etc., is that the story does also connect on some level. And this is just a bit too abstract. The story wise there wasn't really a story for me, but everything else I thought was amazing. But if there was one thing I would nitpick about, it would be the lack of, for me, a story that really connects.
But that's not that it doesn't nail everything it does. It nails. It doesn't really have a story. So
I would be intrigued because like everything else about the game feels so intentional. I do wonder if there is some sort of allegory or something behind it, but I didn't pick up on any of that for sure. But yeah, I think
I'm sure there's a theme behind it somewhere. I'm sure there's something behind it, some sort of thought. But I don't think they were trying to tell a story. Like I don't feel like at any point it was trying to get a story across.
I suppose in a way, this is the one sense in like that it sort of hurts that it's like it's from some of the people that made Inside and Limbo, because obviously they were quite opaque narratives, but they were there. So you look at Cocoon and it's easy to be like, well, there's probably something here, I'm just not getting it. Whereas actually, as I say, Dave, I think probably it was just a conscious decision to not really have a story.
Yeah, I guess. But that's one thing I would mark it down for, but that's such like a nitpick because I thought the rest of the game was excellent in pretty much every way. Music, I love as you mentioned, Dave, I love the way that it uses musical tones to kind of dictate that you're on the right path. I also love the fact that, there's lots of possibilities for you to get, I think there's lots of possibilities for you to potentially get stuck in this game, but what this game does so well is that it locks you off, so there's no possibilities of you getting stuck. But the thought of, you having like multiple orbs, multiple levels, multiple abilities, you're like, this game could have, if it wasn't clever like it is, it could have let you go anywhere and you'll be lost. But the fact they say no, basically you're essentially locked off at certain points, so you really only got like one or two options, so you're not there potentially spending hours wasting your time. I think that's really clever, really well done. It kind of a lot of stuff that avoids friction and just enables you to get through the game. I was always on the precipice of, is it too hard, is it not? And then you kind of, oh no, what if I do this and go back here, and then you get it done. So
this is it,
which is a perfect kind of place to be for these kinds of games.
Yeah, like, if you've not played this and you're a big fan of puzzle games, you might hear this and think, oh, what? Like, it doesn't let you get anything wrong, or it sort of holds your hand. And it's like, those things are true in a way, but only because, like, say, you're solving puzzles that involve hopping in and out of dimensions, which then become items you can carry around, and like it's so that that sort of hand holding
is so confusing that to not fall into a trap of this is too much is should be praised in itself.
100%.
That's the way I look at that.
There's been other puzzle games where you jumping in and out of worlds, and then once you're out of a world, it's then an item or whatever. Like, this isn't like the first time this has been done, but then so many of those other ones you'll play for 5 minutes and just be like, my fucking brain hurts. Like, I think the fact that this makes that concept as accessible as it does, I think is amazing.
Right, let's vote. James,
what's the choices?
We're
fucking
gone already.
No, it's
Cocoon
seriously.
versus Exoprimal.
Cocoon, come on.
Matt.
Yeah, Cocoon all day.
Sean. Me, Cocoon. Exoprimal's out. But yeah, I mean, fair play, Sean. No problem with that being nominated in the first place. Next game out of the hat. James. Let's hear about Street Fighter 6, boy.
James?
Okay, I can do that.
Are you sure?
Oh no!
Every year.
Okay, stop.
Can you just explain what happened then?
What do you mean?
What was the gap?
I was just thinking about something.
Oh yeah.
Are you texting Matt again?
Can we just have a quick cheese break?
Fucking hell.
Yes, we can have a cheese break if it's going to let you focus.
Yeah, just for a second. I just need a quick cheese break.
Okay, we're back. Are you feeling okay now, James? Or
Yeah, brilliant.
Are you feeling okay?
Really brilliant.
What's happened? So you bought a bottle of vodka?
I did. You see, and the thing is, I haven't drunk vodka since 1999. Because it was one of those drinks that
weird thing to say.
No, it's one of those things that I used to drink when I was like much younger, and I've then
it was a mid-90s dream realised, fully realised.
But then I developed a strong dislike for it because of the smell, but then this year I just thought I want to mix things up a bit, try something different, so I thought I'd go with the vodka again. And
okay,
how's that working out for you? So you're
just drinking it neat? You drinking it neat?
No. I'm drinking it with orange juice and with apple juice. I'm alternating between the two. So it's a screwdriver.
It's a fruity affair over in James's flat at the moment.
But
lovely old job.
Worst thing about it is the way it sort of like creeps up on you. You see, because it's like you drink quite a lot of it and you feel fine, and then suddenly it's like bang, it happens.
James, you say this about everything you drink.
He's absolutely right.
Apart
You're
from milk.
absolutely right.
Yeah.
Coming in,
Street Fighter 6. I mean, I was hoping that this would come out earlier in the thing before I'd started drinking, but I got impatient. And
James, you say that about everything.
If you're listening and you have that your drinking card, then it's a shot for you right now. If you ever want to bring your card, because James has said he wishes it came out earlier. There you go.
I kind of did, because I was hoping, because this one, I mean, I wanted to choose games this year that stayed in my memory, and this was one that did, because I thought it was excellent. Mostly because I've tried to get into Street Fighter games after Street Fighter 2 so many times. Like I played 3, I played 4, I played 5, but then I realised that the big problem with me getting into any of these games was that with Street Fighter 2, I was playing this with like a group of people from school. Every day after school we'd come back, we'd play this together, and it was brilliant. Really, really enjoyed it. And I never managed to recreate that again. Like I tried to do that with the online experience, but I sucked. I was no good at it. So that was a huge problem. And it turns out that what I needed with one of these games was a Yakuza Light single player to make it kind of happen. And it's this mode that this game has, which is, I know what people probably don't love about this game, but it's the thing I love about it, that made me see how the series had evolved and how it made me understand all the movesets that the game has and all the stupid mini games and all that kind of stuff. And I really felt like I was taking part in a wider tournament because of this stupid character that I created, and it was great. And it was just that the difficulty level for the game is like perfectly pitched, and the leveling was also a huge amount of fun, like playing through this, going through the different countries, going to different places you really did feel like a world warrior with this, which is what was great. And the reason I feel that this is up there as a potential Game of the Year contender is because of the simplification of the control system, which I think was an absolutely genius idea. And I know that this has irritated a lot of diehard fans, almost certainly, but it really has meant that I think a wider audience can play the game and compete as well. And I think at this stage, it's my favourite fighting game that I think I've played like ever, I think. And I think it's really significantly evolved the genre, and it's brilliant.
I seriously love that we're a Game of the Year gaming show that's nominating for Street Fighter 6 for its single player game. Like,
why not? This was the thing that I connected with this game, and I thought it was really good. It was excellent.
Yeah, I just find it funny. I'm not having a go.
And I think it's not usually for me to defend the fighting game community, because I think they're often unbearable. But I think mostly speaking, I think they've mostly been supportive of the simplified controls, because it's that thing of like, well, you'll never be quite as good as someone who can play quote unquote properly, but it's a really good way in, and like I've seen is people being very cool about that, and just happy that more people are getting involved.
Yeah,
excellent game.
Do you want to see what's up against? Let's find out. This is up against Sean, Cyberpunk 2077.
I played and finished this back when it first came out, and I enjoyed it well enough. Obviously, it had tons of problems. I was playing on PC, which was the least problematic of the formats, apart from Stadia. Great Stadia game. I enjoyed it, but it had problems. Right? That's there's nothing else to be said about it, really. Playing it now, obviously, I know, putting aside the discussion we had at the start, obviously, I'm very aware that this originally came out in 2020. I'm very aware that people listen to this and think, well, should we be rewarding a developer for putting out a broken game and then taking 3 years to fix it? All I've based my decision on is this is the best game I have played this year. I replayed the campaign from the start, thinking I was initially sort of went in thinking I just want to see the start again. I'll probably pick up my old save, and that's how I'm going to do the DLC and stuff. But was enjoying it that much, and it felt that fresh, that I was happy to replay the entire campaign again. And as we're always moaning about not having enough time to play stuff. That was the fact that was an easy decision for me to make. I think speaks volumes about how much I was enjoying this. It's I don't know. We talked about this on the show, but it's the confidence you can have in the game now, because you're not constantly expecting things to go wrong. So a lot of the stuff that was already in there, a lot of the story stuff, I felt just resonates so much better now because you trust the world, you trust the game to not constantly fuck up. You're not constantly seeing things that pull you out of the experience. And again, like talking about how the game wasn't released, let's not forget it was like giving people epileptic seizures and stuff. Through the brain dance stuff, which really they should have seen coming. Like that was really bad that stuff was in the game. But yeah, like all those things being ironed out, I genuinely think it feels like a different game now. And there are so many things, so many story elements, so many characters, so many bits of dialogue that I was just so much more invested in this time around. And again, I touched on this briefly on the show. Obviously, didn't want to spoil it then. I still won't. I didn't like any of the original endings because, as you know, there's the whole thing. Your main character V's got this chip in their head that is killing them, and that's why they keep having visions of Keanu Reeves. And the game is around trying to find a cure for that. And yeah, I didn't find, obviously there was an ending I chose, which I felt was like the least bad of them. But then in looking up the other ones, I was like, well, none of these are really satisfying. And then Phantom Liberty has come along and said, yeah, dickhead. That was the point, right? Like the new ending is brilliant in its own right, but it is also in conversation with the other endings and the sort of reception to them, because it's, again, not spoiling anything. It's like, because the setup for the DLC, so this isn't a spoiler, is like, you get contacted by this government agent who's like, hey, we need your help right now, and also we know about your predicament and we can help, right? So it's you're pursuing a cure for this chip in your brain that's killing you, and like, it's just really clever how, like, obviously there are twists and turns, right? And things don't necessarily play out how you'd expect, but not in a sort of... It's so hard to explain without spoiling it. It gives you what you thought you wanted, but it shows you some of the consequences of that, but not in a sort of, haha, we tricked you way. It's like, it's done so well and with such... Like, it feels like really sort of heartfelt the way it's handled. And it reinforces the point they were trying to make with the original endings really well, but also stands on its own 2 feet as an interesting ending. So, like, it was really cool replaying it and then choosing an ending and being like, right, cool. And then finishing the DLC and then choosing the DLC ending as well. Like, so if you're playing this for the first time, I think that's how I would recommend going about it. Because it's worth seeing how the new ending sort of like plays off the other ones, right? The DLC itself is unbelievable. Again, like some of the missions, like some of the stuff you end up doing, again, can't spoil it. Just so much fun. Like, Idris Elba's really good in it. Like, I mean, even Keanu Reeves like is probably more likable as Johnny Silverhand in the DLC than he was in the main game. But like, Idris Elba puts in a really good performance, really interesting character. Like, you're working with all these government agents who, like, over the years have been sort of forced to fuck each other over in various ways because that's just the nature of the job, and it's kind of shit. And they're all at this point where they sort of forgive each other, but they're all just so burned out by the whole thing. Right. And it's just really, really interesting to be... like, to just sort of land in their world, right, and try and figure out their relationships and their past and stuff. Really, really well done. Great performances from, like, so many of the characters. Like, you're essentially working...
I still maintain that, fuck it. I don't get that, Keanu Reeves seems like a nice guy, and the stories you read about him, great. He's not... good actor though, is he?
He's good at what he does. Come on.
Yeah.
But like, even in this, like, some of the deliveries in the lines are so bad that I'm
no,
like,
but
this is really off-putting.
I know, but he's playing a kind of character, which I think is...
No, he fucking isn't. He's doing what he always does and goes, hey, I don't really know. And when he's playing alongside a good voice actor, you go, holy fuck, you stick out like a sore
There's still
thumb.
a charm to it, you know.
No, not for me. No charm.
It's definitely like
him.
you are, this obviously comes across as a bit of a cop out, but obviously you're not necessarily supposed to like Johnny Silverhand, and you are supposed to find
for sure.
you're supposed to find his politics maybe a little bit overly simplistic
Yes.
on one note. But that's not to say that he doesn't have a point. It's just the way he goes about making it. It's just like, yeah, all right, Johnny.
David, have you ever seen John Wick, like any of those films?
No, I haven't, but I love the way you said my name then. David. You are literally one sip away from saying he doesn't do anything.
John Wick films are incredible.
They are.
Yeah, John Wick films are absolutely amazing.
Really good,
Can I know, is that just the movies
Again, like the
itself?
acting in that isn't amazing, but he is so good as that character.
Yeah.
He's perfect for that character,
Yeah.
You should watch them,
I
David.
mean-
They're fucking amazing.
Yeah, no, they're, I should do. But, well, I mean, should we get to the... Are you done, Sean?
For now, I probably should be.
Sorry, that sounded way more combative.
No, it's fine.
than I
I just,
thought it was gonna be.
Fucking done, you bastard.
It's, again, this was one I really wasn't... Like, I was... As you know, we're approaching the end of the year, and it's like, oh man, there's all these games coming out, and I kept thinking, oh yeah, and there's this DLC for Cyberpunk. I wonder what that will be like. And just in amongst everything else, got fully obsessed with this. As I say, put another sort of 50, 60 hours in, whatever it was, for a game I've already played and finished. Because that is how much I enjoyed it. That is how fresh it felt to me. And I think the DLC in particular, the storytelling in it is just unbelievable. Like before, like choosing the DLC ending in, because you finish the DLC and then that like enables an additional ending outside of the DLC, if you get me. But just the way the DLC ends, was fun. It was like, when you come out of the cinema and you've just seen something really fucking good, and it's like, oh fuck man, I'm back in real life now. Jesus Christ, it felt like that. Like I was just I love
that feeling.
Yeah,
I love that feeling from seeing something in the cinema, and you're like in the days afterwards.
Yeah, man. Like that's what it was like. It's so good.
But so this is the last DLC, right?
Yeah, because I think this is very much like CD Projekt Red sort of saving face and being like, please buy The Witcher 4 when it comes out. We promise it'll be this good. So yeah, I think this is it for Cyberpunk. Well, there's a new Cyberpunk as well, isn't there? But yeah, I think this is it for DLC.
Okay.
Cool. All right. So which way are we voting, Sean?
Cyberpunk.
James.
Street Fighter 6.
Fuck's sake, James.
Okay. I wasn't expecting that. Matt.
Yeah, so I've played neither. Well, no, I played a little bit of Cyberpunk, so I'm going to go Cyberpunk.
I have to go Street Fighter 6.
Do you?
Oh, you do, considering it's
I still feel
it's a 2020
uneasy.
game, isn't it, Cyberpunk?
Oh, fuck you, James.
Oh
Absolute.
my God, okay.
Turncoat.
Wow.
Fuck you, James.
Where were you about 3 hours ago?
I've had time to reflect. Think about it,
He has a few
Time-
drinks
time
and he
to
starts
drink.
talking sense.
Yeah.
I still feel a bit odd about that being out Game of the Year 2023.
Me too.
It's
That's the
not
big
going to win
problem.
Game of the Year 2023, David.
What?
What
What have I done wrong there?
No, you haven't done anything wrong.
No,
Oh, right,
nothing.
okay, cool. You're saying that it's not going to get to the... what are you saying?
I'm saying it's not going to win.
Okay. All right, okay, I'm more comfortable with that then. Because I did I loved playing Cyberpunk this year.
Mhm.
Okay, I'll switch my vote. So Cyberpunk goes through, Street Fighter goes out.
Cool.
Okay. I'm just waiting.
2020
for James to
2020 game beats 2023 game. That's fine.
James, you agreed with me that Cyberpunk should be
Yeah,
part
but
of
it was within his
part
own
of this.
interest,
I
wasn't it? Before. Next game out of the hat. Oh my God, we're still on round 1. 3
Have I
hours
done
in.
all of mine? Am I in the clear now?
I can't remember.
I'll tell you what,
right.
I'm in the clear.
David, it's my game. It's Super Mario Wonder. Now, why is Super Mario Wonder in the hat? Because I think
It's in the hat
I
because
sort
you
of
were
panicked
trying
and
to
got confused.
It's in the hat because you were trying
Yeah.
to throw me off for some reason.
That's exactly it.
And given that you've only
That's
played it
what-
for
Oh, come
5
on.
hours, it's like
Come on,
Yeah.
it's good. It's really good. Don't.
It is What? I haven't played it for 5 hours.
I had a look on the Switch thing, and it says you played it for 5 hours or more, which means less than 10.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, okay. But it also means that I've played on that profile. You don't think I haven't played this to death with my kids?
I don't know, David. I don't know what you've done. All I can see is what there is on your profile.
You had it all wrapped up there. You thought you had it all wrapped up.
It's a good game. It's a good game.
Do you know how much of this I've played with the boys?
I know. All I know is what I can see on the thing. Yeah, you tell us. Yeah,
I've played it a lot with the boys. But even then, I don't think it's one of my top 4. Right. So here's what happened last week. We were going for. I had no intention of picking Super Mario Wonder. I had no intention of having it in my picks, right? I think it's a good game. I think it's a good Mario game, and I enjoy playing Mario games. I think what they've done with the animation, I think what they've done with the music has been brilliant. Like, I really like the Wonder stuff. I really like the style that they've chosen. As I said, I never liked the style of New Super Mario Bros. That's not to say the games were bad, but visually, I didn't like the style, I didn't like the music, I didn't like the direction, visually, it just looks squashed to me. Like, little Mario in New Super Mario Bros. Just looks weird. Like, they just scaled something down, but haven't got the ratio right. Whereas here, everything looks perfect. Like, everything looks like a Mario game should look like in 2023. It works, and it looks beautiful. When we were going through them and it got to my pick, I was just thinking, how can I wind James up here? Like, how can I throw James off a little bit? I'll pick a game that I was convinced he was going to vote for. So I just blurted out Super Mario Wonder without properly thinking about it. And here we are, pulling it out of the hat. This is the thing,
because I wasn't going to choose this game precisely.
I know,
because
you said afterwards.
Because
I can't believe it.
Because I really, I enjoyed playing the game, but I also haven't thought about it since 100%ing it, which is kind of an indication that it wasn't as good as, as it probably could have been.
But also, after we did the draft, Harry said, "Oh, did you pick your games for Game of the Year?" I went, "Yeah." He said, "Which ones are on your list?" I went, "Well, Spider-Man 2, Viewfinder, Cocoon, and Super Mario Wonder." And his face lit up, and because that has been his favourite game of the year. Like, he adores that game, and I'm just like, "Yeah, it's all right." But he is obsessively he's played it through to completion. He's done the hard level at the end of it. James,
hang on. Has he done the hard level with the invisibility stuff?
Right, that's what he's told me. I've not checked his profile, but that's what he's told me. I said,
David,
have you done the hard level?
Wake up now.
You need to check that, because that was, that's a whole other thing.
All right. Fucking hell, was it mad to you?
Little insight into James's parenting there.
Yeah.
Check out he's grounded.
No, it's interesting, because like I've said on the show, I've had a very weird sort of patchy experience with this, because Isaac was well into it and I just sort of dropped in and out occasionally. I don't think the co-op works really.
They never have in these games, I don't think.
But equally, it's same as you were saying with Harry. Like, Isaac, basically finished it. Got to credits. 90% by himself, and he's never been able to do that. It's the first game he's managed to do that. So, in one sense, this will always have a place in my heart. But I don't know.
Yeah, I was so excited for Harry, because we were talking about it today, and I was like, I'm going to see if I can at least get to credits before the show, and I didn't manage to do that because it's just been crazy busy. But we sat down, and I just said, "Can you just watch me play it for a bit?" And he was like, "Yeah, I'll watch you play it for a bit." He's like, "Right, go to World 1, go to Level 2. Instead of going up there, go through this door here. Now, make sure you've got the elephant power up. Do this. That takes you off." And I was like, holy shit, there's like a whole string of levels here that I just didn't do because I didn't know this little secret. But he knew the secrets. And obviously he's got them from YouTube videos. It's not like back in the day where someone would say something to you in the playground and you would spend the rest of the day trying to make sure that you remember it. And the moment you got in, you slung the game on and tried it out. I went, holy shit, it's actually working. He just watched the YouTube video that told him, but seeing him get excited about the hidden shit in this game was fucking brilliant. It was so good. And he's, he's now done with Wonder, and so now he's just restarted Odyssey, and he's looking for. They've lost the fucking cart for Bowser's Fury, but he's itching to play that. And I was thinking I could do another run at Bowser's Fury. Actually, that was really good.
That was excellent.
I love that.
So, actually, maybe this definitely should have been in the hat. Like, don't get me wrong. Maybe I was being a bit flippant and out of order earlier. It definitely deserves to be in the hat. It's just there are other games I'm more passionate about, I guess. And I thought this was going to piss James off, and it didn't. I miscalculated it. Sorry, everyone. It is, of course,
really
up against the last game, and that's Paranormasight.
Yes. Paranormasight: The Seven Mysteries of Honjo, to give it its full title. I haven't really played a visual novel before, but this was a fucking excellent one. It's a horror one, and yet even with the kind of visual novel stylings, it still freaked me out, which I think actually is a great sign of the atmosphere it produces. It's, to get into the story, I guess, roughly, it's all about you're in 1980s Japan in a place called Honjo, and everyone's obsessed with the occult, and essentially there's these kind of mysterious curse stones, and essentially you have to kill people to protect yourself. There's lots of kind of, cool occulty stuff. And what happens is you start with just one person that you play, one character you play as, and they're trying to work out what its local ghost story is about. But essentially the game opens up to a whole cast of characters which you switch between. And they all have their own kind of reasons for finding this curse stone. To find a curse stone, and they'll stop themselves dying. But all the characters are really, really varied, and they all have their own kind of reasons for like seeking out these curse stones and saving either themselves or other people. There's like two detectives which are trying to solve all of the murders which are happening. There's like an old serial killer. There's like I think there's like a mum that's trying to seek out revenge for her son's death. There's like two schoolgirls that are involved, and they're interested in all the murders. And all these stories kind of branch and like involve each other. And what you do is you'll play as one of the characters, you'll learn a clue or you'll learn something, and then you'll instantly want to basically go to the other character because you know something that character didn't know, and then you can kind of like move your story forward, which I think is really, really clever. So everything you do then makes you want to play another character and keep going, and then you learn more of them. And it's just like, this game felt quite addictive from about halfway through, when you start learning, the more I do for this character, that opens that, and that opens that, and that opens that. And then also you're in scenes where you will be, talking to a character, or your character is talking to someone else, and you'll see one of the other people you also control in the background. You're like, holy shit. So they're also here, but they're seeing something from a different angle. And that stuff is really, really interesting. Again, I'm sure this is probably done in other visual novels. I'm not sure. But for this one, at least, I thought it was really, really excellently done. There were puzzles, of course. There's some really, really clever ones. I'm not going to, reveal anything, but there's some ones that make you kind of think a little bit differently about how you have to, attack certain scenarios. And you have like inventory systems where you have to like look at items and all the kind of usual kind of things. But yeah, I think character-wise, story-wise, excellent. Atmosphere-wise, again, I would not have, if you'd asked me if I would have thought like a visual novel-style game would maybe give me jump scares or scare me, I'm fairly sure that's not going to be the case. But there's one scene where I think you're in a school or something, and like the lights are out, and it's really genuinely kind of terrifying, even though it's just told in a visual novel style, which again I think speaks volumes to the writing, the characters, the intrigue, like the atmosphere of the environment. And I think anyone who's played any visual novels would absolutely love this, and even if you haven't, like myself, it's well worth giving it a go. I mean, I used to watch loads of world cinema, Asian horror, Asian cinema, and lots of this kind of brought back memories of why I used to absolutely love watching that stuff. Like, it's just so intriguing, just talking to the various characters, seeing what their kind of desires were and inspirations and kind of motives were for attacking these things, or for finding out these ghosts, or protecting themselves or their loved ones. Yeah, story-wise, character-wise, writing-wise, I thought it was absolutely excellent. It had a really, really good ending as well. And yeah, this is definitely my favourite indie game of the year. And I think I've seen some people talk about it, probably not enough people. If you're up for a visual novel and a great game with great characters and a really intriguing story, then I would massively recommend Paranormasight. Yeah, I thought it was excellent.
Cool. Should we get to the voting?
Yeah, go on.
Yeah.
Mario Wonder for me. James?
Can you? I'm not sure actually, because I really liked the game that Matt was talking about, and
He doesn't remember the name
I
of.
can't
was
remember
it called?
the name. Paranormasight. That's
Brilliant.
the one. Yeah.
Yep.
Can you do someone else?
Sean,
Mario.
Matt,
It's Paranormasight for me, obviously.
James.
See, sorry, I'm probably going to have to go for Mario Wonder, because even though
Arthur.
it was kind of forgettable, it was still very good.
At least you could remember the name of it.
That's true.
James, you love Paranormasight.
I did. I thought it was really good, especially like all the branching timelines and stuff. I thought it was excellent, but I don't know.
No, but you're not going to get me or Dave to turn, are you? I played a bit of it. I mean, not as going to change your mind now, and I get that, but you would also fucking love this, I think. Yeah.
Well, it doesn't sound like he would. Is this one of those situations where it's a decent visual novel, but you played loads of games like this, James? Is that it?
Yeah, pretty much.
Right, okay.
I mean, lots of people are saying it's a very good game, so it's not just like, it's another one of them.
Yeah,
It's
no,
great.
absolutely.
It's very, very good, honestly. It's very, very good.
But it's not as good as a forgettable Mario game.
Exactly.
Come on,
out.
forgettable Mario game is still amazing. Like, usually.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
true.
it's hard to compare like an indie game versus like a Mario game. I get that, but Paranormasight is fucking excellent. Everyone should play it.
I don't think it's an indie.
We are
is it?
done with. We are down.
Are we going to this?
Can we stop
is it-
now?
I mean, sorry,
We're
it's
not. No, not now. Not fucking midnight.
Square Enix published it, but Zine Inc., who made Trials of Mana, like they delivered it. I mean, who knows?
It was good.
We're
excellent.
down. We're down to quarterfinals. What do you want to
Okay,
do?
that's round one done.
I know, but things
Fucking
always
hell.
This
speed
goes
up.
quicker
now.
Yeah,
than
I know,
this
yeah,
bit.
yeah.
This is
Sorry,
the
sorry.
quick bit. Hopefully, right? Should we just
Yeah.
plow on?
Yeah,
Yeah,
man,
do
I'm good to go.
Yes, plow.
Shoot.
Big time.
The first
Shoot.
quarterfinal. When you say shoot, it's like me saying, "What did I say earlier that I should not?"
Kudos.
Kudos.
Cowabunga,
Alright.
dude.
The first matchup is Viewfinder versus Alan Wake 2.
Ooh.
James, I want your vote first.
I'm voting for Alan Wake 2.
What?
Yeah.
After what happened?
No,
Yeah,
but it's
boy.
still. Come on, Viewfinder, come on.
Come on.
I'm voting Viewfinder. It's brilliant. Sean?
I'm going to go for Alan Wank.
What?
Okay. Matt?
Alan Wake 2, baby. I mean, I
That's
also thought Viewfinder was
ridiculous.
excellent, but Alan
Viewfinder's
Wake
out.
2 all the way.
Yeah, I don't know about that, but fine. Baldur's Gate 3 versus Zelda Tears of the Kingdom.
Ooh, that's a tough one.
Oh, no. Shit.
Well, it's easy for me. Tears of the Kingdom.
Oh, it's got to be Baldur's Gate for me.
1-1. Matt?
Tears of the Kingdom for me.
2-1.
James?
I'm going to go for Baldur's Gate, actually.
Oh, it's a deadlock.
Oh, baby, it's deadlock, baby.
I mean, Matt, you did say Tears of the Kingdom was unmemorable. Haven't thought about it since. Total
yeah,
dog
but
shit.
I
I think you
was-
said at one point. I think you said it was shit.
I
I
didn't say
vote
shit.
for a game based on what, like, oh, I like that people like it. I don't know if I can. That
Well, no,
sounds good.
Out of 2, obviously I've only played Tears of the Kingdom. And I think I did say, even in my earlier description, it was a 10. I just didn't emotionally connect with it like I had
look,
done.
Think of it this way.
Yes, James?
Jeff Keighley's Game Awards can't be wrong.
Yeah.
Okay, James is pissed.
You're talking to the wrong person there, James.
Matt, let me tell you something.
It's not that bad.
Jeffrey
Come on.
Keighley.
He gets posher, doesn't he, when he drinks?
Yeah, I mean, even though it is a Stone Cold 10, I'm just saying I didn't connect with it emotionally. But out of 2, I've obviously only played this, therefore I'm going to stick with this for now.
Sean,
Yeah.
the depths were good, weren't they?
I did
Remember the depths?
really like the depths.
Come on, you can't really. I don't
Depths
think
were
it's
good.
entirely
But then
fair
Baldur's
to compare
Gate-
these.
Baldur's Gate 3 has a really interesting underground section.
Sorry, James. You don't think it's fair to compare these
No,
games?
what I mean by that is
Kind of we
that.
have to.
Well, welcome to TCGS. Got
No,
too
no,
late.
what I mean.
We're past that.
raising objections.
Yeah.
No, what I mean by that
Hold
is
on a
that
minute.
look,
Hold on a minute, the concept's flawed.
I don't want to
But what I'm talking about with this is the fact that you've got Tears of the Kingdom, a game which we all liked, like we all thought was very good, but all of us have pretty much said it is worse than the previous game. How can we then say that this should go ahead instead of Baldur's Gate 3?
The previous game is the best game of all time.
So, what does that matter? We're talking about this game. We're not talking about the one that came before.
Yeah, but you were talking about the one that came before. You just mentioned that. You mentioned it.
But what I'm saying but
John, help. What is he doing?
I don't know. I don't think he knows.
I don't actually. It's
I know what he's saying, actually. We were lukewarm on Tears of the Kingdom and Baldur's Gate 3. I mean, I've not heard anyone be lukewarm on that.
No.
But is that just because it's got, like, nudity in it?
No,
that's not the only reason.
Come on.
It probably,
is a reason.
One of
it
the
probably
reasons.
helps, but it's not.
It's the same with Yakuza, isn't it? It's the same with Yakuza.
I don't think there's any nudity.
It's got smut in it. No, but it's got smut in it.
There's no nudity.
John sent me a screenshot of a Yakuza game, by the way, James, that it had a character in it. Where's it? It's got a character in it who has a very low cut top on, saying, "I tend to get kind of handsy with hot men when I'm drunk." That's what you sent me, right?
Okay.
That's your game, is it? That's your favourite game series, is it?
It's the kind of thing you probably also see in a Grand Theft Auto game as well, which you think is brilliant. So,
That is a good game, to be fair. Hi, I'm Misty. Right, so where are we at? So we've got Tears of the Kingdom's me and who?
Matt. Me.
Right. And then Baldur's Gate is Sean and
James.
James.
It's called James.
That's my name.
Sean's going to change, I think.
I'll be disappointed in you if you do, Sean, honestly. Seeing as you played...
I don't think he gives a
Seeing
fuck.
as you played, like,
after what you did, James. I don't think... I mean, I love both of them. That's the problem.
Yeah, but come on. We're taking a game like Tears of the Kingdom that we've all said is not, like, as good as most of these other games. And then just, like...
No,
we haven't said that.
To be fair,
we've not said that.
I mean, it'd be very funny if
up.
a game I chose knocked Baldur's Gate 3 out after everything that went on. So,
it would be funny, yeah.
Maybe for that reason alone, I'm switching to Zelda.
That's bullshit. I mean, come
Baldur's
on.
Gate 3 is out. Yeah, but James, your argument at the end there was just a lie. We've all said is not as good as the other games.
Fuck off. We've spent like literally weeks talking about Tears of the Kingdom and the problems we've had with it. And the only reason that you're voting for it is because you haven't played Baldur's Gate 3. It's the same with all of these things. It's like you just
spend half an hour of it, James.
Yeah, half an hour.
Right, okay. But the alternative is we end up with a game of the year that none of us have played. How does that
Sean's
work?
played it and I've played it. But that's not acceptable to you, is it?
You played about 10 minutes of it.
Yeah, but the main ones, James.
Exactly, that's the thing. It's like, it's not acceptable to you because you haven't played it. So for that reason, it can't be Game of the Year.
I've just realised it's his last game in the hat. I've just seen this is his last game in the hat.
That. It's the fact that
he's also worried about the feedback. You know,
it's nothing to do with that. It's the fact that
50% of the audience voted for this, and James has done this to it.
It's bullshit.
And I hope those people who wrote in being like, James completely outplayed Sean this year. I hope you're all listening now.
Congrats,
so Sean, you're trying to get me back here by choosing a game.
That is exactly what
isn't
he's doing.
as good as the game
just
that you think
I mean,
is better.
it's literally the only reason I can find to tip the balance.
Yeah. Fantastic gambit,
the game that you swore to me you were going to choose as a game,
Well, I was. James, until that opportunity was taken from me.
Yeah, well, I had to choose it because it didn't seem like anyone else was going to choose it. So.
Okay.
Well, Sean was going to choose it.
Okay, James.
Okay. Armored Core 6 versus Cocoon. I will start. Cocoon. Matt.
Cocoon.
Sean.
Armored Core 6.
James.
Cocoon.
Who saw that coming?
Did he delay that to try and make I'm rubbing it back?
I'm going to pretend I didn't decide this.
James, I heard that, and I imagine you holding your chin, saying "Cocoon."
Maybe we should do this on video.
Doing that actually at this moment.
Yeah, good. Yeah.
Cyberpunk 2077 versus Super Mario Wonder. Matt.
Ooh, Tuffy.
Well, is it Tuffy? Tuffy's here, is he? What was the guy's name? What's the guy's real name? Tuffy. What is he? Wasn't he a cricket player or something?
Do you mean Gothy?
Oh, I can't remember.
Or Ian
I think it might be
Botham? Who are you talking about?
Ian Botham. Sorry, go on. I'm sure there's a cricketer called Tuffy.
This is Super Mario Wonder or Cyberpunk. I mean, yeah,
Mate, when you get around to Cyberpunk, you're going to be obsessed with it, man. I'm telling you.
But I don't want Cyberpunk to win, Sean.
Yeah, I can't have Cyberpunk. I've got to go.
That's what I'm scared about. If I keep voting it through, it's going to win at some point.
I mean, what's left, right? What's coming up after this round?
Doesn't matter. We'll get that. No, this is it. This is the last one in this round.
Yeah, but then so then what does that?
Well, no, I'm not going to then. Yeah, we're not doing that.
He's not recapping. Okay, I'm going to start this with Super Mario Wonder.
Yeah, I mean, I agree.
I say Dave already.
Sean, yeah, you didn't start it, Matt,
carry on.
but that's
carry
fine.
on. I mean, I start my round of speaking about it with that.
Sean,
Cyberpunk,
James,
The Keanu Reeves game.
okay,
Fucking hell.
Deadlock again.
Okay, right.
It's got to be Super Mario Wonder that goes through. Right, we got it in the hat. You said your piece. It's a good game. Lovely stuff. But we've had enough now.
Yeah,
we've had enough around.
Here's my worry, right? Out of the two, I think I would probably, if I play both of them, I'd probably enjoy Cyberpunk more.
There you go.
But I don't want it to get any further because I'm scared what it's going to do.
Yeah, the same. I'm the same. I played both of these games this year, essentially. Cyberpunk's a better game. It's a 2020 game. I can't let it go any further.
But you
James,
were fine with
switch?
it going through to the next round earlier on.
Yeah, because we thought you throw your
Hold
bone.
on, James, you flip-flopped on this in the last round as well, so don't give me any of that.
Whatever.
He's got you there, Dave.
James, do you want Mario or Keanu Reeves? What's a better character for you?
Keanu Reeves game.
Okay.
James, I'm not going to switch. You're going to have to.
Yeah,
man.
Sean isn't budging, and me and David aren't budging.
I don't want to budge either. I mean, Mario Wonder
Why
was
not?
a good game, but it was completely forgettable.
But it come out this year.
Crucially.
So? It's game of the year.
I know, but I had a lot of fun with Phantom Liberty. I thought it was very good.
I swear to God, I'm just going to play Tetris from now on. Just go, well, Tetris is nominated because...
The original.
Okay, David, right, okay, like, if I think about the other games that are in, all them other games beat Cyberpunk. So...
All right.
Well, this is why I was asking. I wasn't expecting Cyberpunk to win. I want to see it go as far as it can. I wasn't expecting.
Why did you have a fucking meltdown at the start of the show then?
Because you were just picking on it because you thought it'd be an easy one to get out.
No, I didn't. I genuinely am
you
against
was.
having this as game of the year. I'm genuinely against having this as game of the year.
Yeah, I hate it with every fibre of my being.
I can see people who don't listen to the show and seeing us on Twitter announce that our game of the year is Cyberpunk 2077, and people going, "Oh, fuck off!"
Nah.
And I can't, and I'm with them. It would be me
We're
saying it.
listening to
Sean.
the listeners now.
Oh yeah, I forgot
Yeah,
about
I
that.
would not be happy with that. Trackmania, that's a great game, and we can shout about that. But Cyberpunk, I was like, for fuck's sake, no way. This thing's not winning, but out of the two, it probably would be my favourite out of the two.
Okay, all right. So you'd switch in your vote.
Well, okay, I'll switch, but I don't want that to then. What if it knocks out one of the really good games?
It's not
It's not going to get through the next round.
Okay.
It's not winning.
Okay, in which case I'll switch my vote and I'm going to vote for Cyberpunk.
Fucking
Brilliant.
ridiculous. Okay. All right. Do we need a rest before the first semi-final, or are we good?
I'm all right.
Yeah.
I'm fine.
Yeah.
James is
Have you
firing on
enough
all
cheese,
cylinders.
James?
I'm all right.
First one: Alamite 2 versus Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom.
You might as well ask me first. Sound awake too.
Okay, Sean.
Zelda.
James.
Alan Wake 2.
Oh, shit. See,
I'll say, I'm sort of amazed Zelda got this far, because I know when we were nominating it, like everyone was saying, like, and I think testament to how good this year's been. Obviously, towards the start of the year, we were just like, haha, how's anything going to beat Zelda? Which then became, actually, it took us like 8 games before we got to Zelda in the nominations.
Yeah, and I was kind of blown away that it only won 1 award at the Game Awards as well. Or maybe it wasn't blown away. Actually, maybe it's been such an incredible year, and
I don't know if it has been. Everyone keeps saying that. I don't know if it has been such an incredible year.
All the games we talked about have been great.
Yeah, I was going to say, I mean, I haven't played Diablo or I haven't played Baldur's Gate, I haven't played Final Fantasy 16, but even I can take a step back and see all the incredible games that have been released, even if most of them...
Resi 4 remake is not in our list.
I'm sorry, Adam and everyone else, I didn't nominate that, but lots of great games out there. Just not all of them for me.
I'm voting Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. 125 hours on that game.
Yeah.
Did anyone hear my phone go off then? I promise you it wasn't a deal coming through.
Ding ding.
Right.
I put 185 hours into it, but it's not about that. It's not about the amount of time you put into it. It's what it gets.
Think of all those hours that you didn't have to think about life or...
Yeah, that was nice. I like not thinking about life.
Yeah, I do appreciate that, actually. Yeah, good point. I'm going to switch. No, I'm not going to switch.
James? Is there any chance of you switching?
No, there is not.
Why? You've not played... It's so weird.
I've played a bit of it. And honestly, after the conversations that we've had about Zelda over this year, I just feel that it wouldn't be right for it to go forward and compared with Alan Wake.
Okay, all right, I see that. Yeah, I'll switch to Alan Wake.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I think that's a good argument. That's fair. The other semi-final is Cyberpunk 2077 versus Cocoon. Cocoon gets my vote.
I'm going to say Cyberpunk, but
Matt,
knowing what's going to happen,
it's Cocoon for me.
James,
I'm going to say Cyberpunk as well.
Oh, why
James? Don't do that.
James,
don't do that.
Because I can't do this again. I can't do this.
What do you mean?
Oh my god, it's the indie game!
It's the fucking...
I see.
Predictability.
We've done this,
the
David.
predictability of this.
We've fallen into this trap again.
Yeah.
Oh my god, he's done us.
Sean, can you please switch? I'm begging you. Can you please switch?
Let's just go for the same thing again. That's fine. Go on.
Can one of you switch? Matt and I have caved over Cyberpunk this whole fucking time.
Yeah, I can't
honestly,
I am to the semi-final.
I'm
not
sure
shitting.
Compare Cyberpunk with Cocoon. It's not even a comparison. It's ridiculous.
Because okay, I'm not going to even go there. I'm not even going to go there because it will ruin your night. I'm not
this
shifting. I've shifted too many times on this. I've shifted this way too many times on this.
What have you shifted on?
What? We've allowed Cyberpunk in,
We've allowed
and it's been going for
Cyberpunk
every
to
round.
get to the fucking semi-final, James.
I can't believe James pulled out the indie card at the last second. I didn't see that happening. Unbelievable.
Can one of you change?
James isn't going to budge, is he?
No, because I think this is absurd.
But James,
while Cocoon is a good game, it is not Game of the Year. It really isn't.
It fucking
is. No, it's not. Come on.
Well, I don't think it's Game of the Year either, but I'd rather that over Cyberpunk.
Yeah.
I mean, Cocoon might not win yet.
It might not win.
Come on.
Cyberpunk's not getting into the final. It cannot be in the final.
Why?
I will switch.
Hang on. Well, so how many have you got for each one right now?
Whoa, it's 2 each.
2 each. Well, technically 3-1 now.
No, yeah. If I'm switching, why? What are you thinking, Matt?
I'm tempted to switch actually.
Ooh,
no, you Matt.
Spicy.
I know why he's doing it though. Sean.
I'm tempted to switch to Cyberpunk.
I know why he's doing it. Matt, don't fucking screw me over like this.
Oh, I see. Because okay.
Yeah, because then. Matt,
Matt,
because he knows we won't let Cyberpunk win against Alan Wake.
Listen to me. I'm being deadly serious here. I'm being deadly serious. If you switch, I'm voting Cyberpunk in the final.
No, you fucking don't.
Yes, I will. Yes, I will. Yes, I will. If you switch now, if you switch now, I'm voting Cyberpunk in the final.
What, you're going to vote for a 2020 game to win us? That'll be embarrassing, Dave, for everyone involved in this organisation.
You're screwing me over here, Matt. You're screwing me over here. If you switch, I'm voting Cyberpunk in the final. Deal with that.
If I switch, right, it'll be Cyberpunk, a 2020 game, versus Alan Wake 2, a fucking incredible 2023 game.
Yeah, I'm voting Cyberpunk.
What?
Come on, in this
David.
round or the next
No, not
one?
in this round. If Matt switches in this round.
David,
If Matt switches in this round.
David.
Matt.
David, right, you've had discussions over the years. I can't believe you voted for, Astrobot over Red Dead.
Sure.
You will wake up tomorrow morning with massive regret if you vote for Cyberpunk to win the TCGS game of the year, 2023.
Because you're trying to screw me over here. You're trying to screw me over. You know Cocoon is going to give Alan Wake a run for its money, and you thought that Cyberpunk wouldn't. I will 100% vote for Cyberpunk in the final if you switch your vote now. And the likelihood is, listen to Sean and James, Cyberpunk would be announced as our game of the year if that happens.
That can't happen.
So, what are you going to do? Are you sticking with Cocoon or are you picking Cyberpunk?
Does it soften it if we announce the winner as Phantom Liberty rather than...
No.
Okay. What about Cyberpunk Ultimate Edition or whatever they call it?
Can we do patch 2.0? Matt, what are you doing? Are you staying with
If you
Cocoon
want to know the
switching?
reason why we picked this as our game of the year, here's the patch notes that they released.
Okay, right. So what's everyone's votes currently? David, you're voting obviously for Cocoon. Sean, you're voting for Cyberpunk.
So, yeah.
James, you're voting for...
Cyberpunk.
So if I vote Cocoon, it's a deadlock, and we have to discuss it. If I switch, then Cyberpunk goes through, but then it's Cyberpunk versus Alan Wake for the final.
Yeah.
And then Dave is going to switch his vote to a 2020 game that he argued about at the beginning.
100% if you screw me over in this round.
Come on, Matt. What are you doing?
Well, okay, so in the final, Sean will vote Cyberpunk. James might vote Cyberpunk. And David now says he will
definitely vote Cyberpunk.
Boys, seriously, we cannot let this. We can't
Let's
let
get it out.
Cyberpunk
Let's
win.
get it out now,
David,
then, Matt.
that'll be so embarrassing. You know
I know.
that.
Let's get it out now. Let's get it out now, and then it can't happen.
Okay, well, even
Sean was
if
just about to switch his vote.
So is Sean about to switch his vote?
He
Well,
was.
waiting to see what you do now.
We'll see what
Sean,
we'll see
if
what
I
you're going to
switch my
do.
vote to Cocoon, what will you do?
No, not.
Wait, hang on. No, you're already voting for Cocoon. We're talking about whether
Are
you're
you
switching to
staying with
sides.
Cocoon?
I just think if I would switch to Cyberpunk, there's a huge opportunity
We've
there.
got to think of a new way of doing Game of the Year. Honestly, this is insane. Does anyone enjoy this? Does anyone enjoy this at this point? Or is this
Well,
just
us
for
or
our
the
own
listeners?
egos? Yeah. This is just horrible, isn't it?
Imagine if you're the developer of Cocoon, these pricks
Getting the Game of the Year award and then listening to the show and being like, oh, this wasn't at all legitimate.
Well, imagine this being your first show.
Yeah.
You ain't going to listen again, are you? You haven't got past the first round.
No, probably not.
Well, you really missed out then. Okay.
Probably won't get past the Cyberpunk stuff at the start, to be honest.
No, I don't blame him. I'm going to... Oh, fuck. It's
You're
really
making
tough
the
now.
decision, though, Matt, because if you switch to Cyberpunk now, you are naming it as Game of the Year. That's it.
David, come on. You wouldn't seriously do that.
Yes, I would. You're trying to screw me.
I'm not trying to screw you. I'm trying to save
You are.
my
You're
and
scared of
protect my
Cocoon.
interests.
Yeah, you're scared of Cocoon. So
Well,
you're trying to off it.
Cocoon's a stronger competitor than
Well, it's
Cyberpunk.
backfired. It's backfired, though, isn't it?
It hasn't
because-
backfired yet. I haven't made a decision
Well, yes,
yet.
because Cyberpunk is a bigger competitor now because I'm definitely going to vote for it in the final if you switch your vote.
Okay, but if I vote for Cocoon, what will happen then?
Well,
if I stay with my...
We'll ask Sean if he wants to still switch.
I want to wait and see what Matt does.
Okay, Okay, I'm going to vote for Cocoon.
Sean.
100%.
Yep.
Then I will switch my vote to Cocoon.
Oh, thank God. Oh, thank God. Cyberpunk is out. Matt, I was never going to vote for Cyberpunk in the final. Are you mad? Holy shit. I thought you were going to call my bluff. Oh, I'm sweating. There's absolutely no way I would have voted. Oh, Jesus.
I mean, honestly,
my heart
against
is
Alan
going.
Wake, I don't think I would have either.
Yeah. Oh. Oh my God. It was like I was bluffing in poker then. That's genuinely what it felt like. I had nothing and I was repping a
you'd
two
look like
pair.
a massive hypocrite if you did that as well.
Yeah, it wouldn't have happened. Fuck me. Whew. Okay, all right. Okay, we have our final. Alan Wake 2 versus Cocoon. We're going to take this very slowly, okay? Matt.
Alan Wake 2.
Me. Cocoon. James.
I don't know what to do at this stage. I feel annoyed, honestly.
Why?
Well, I just feel annoyed because I think...
His plan didn't work.
No, it didn't. Because Matt caved, and I can't believe it.
Well, he got, to be fair to Matt, he got like it unravelled. I don't think that he caved. He unravelled because we found out about the deal, and then that was
I'm
that.
talking about more
Spider-Man
recently.
2. How
It's
is
like,
that?
you know.
How did that go out for Jesus?
No, I thought an opportunity, but then I was worried what David would potentially do, and I know David can argue each of us into a corner, so it's too much of a risk.
I mean, I don't know what to vote for. I really don't.
Vote for Alan Wake 2, James.
Sean, which way are you going?
It's tough. Because obviously it feels very silly to vote for a game that I've played like 2-3 hours of versus one that I finished and loved, but then you can't really compare them in that way.
Of course not. That.
Like I'd be delighted with either.
I would actually, yeah.
Yeah.
I think we've got a good final.
Yeah.
Yeah, imagine the final was Alan Wake versus Cyberpunk.
Alan Wake would have won. That's what's mad about this. If you'd have done that,
Yeah. It would have been. Yeah, it would have
this
won,
is
but
why,
at
Matt,
what
you're
cost?
an idiot. Like if you'd have just done that, this would have been Alan Wake versus Cyberpunk, and you would have won.
And Wake would have walked.
It was not about me. It's about at what cost would it have won? You know, this is a better final. It's going to mean
a better
more.
final. He's right. It is a better final. But it annoys me. You call him an idiot, James. But what does me about you is you go, we shouldn't. It's too obvious. Well, it's too obvious because it's fucking
Yes, it's
brilliant.
a very good game, but it's not Game of the Year. It's not. You can't compare like Cocoon with something like Baldur's Gate 3 or Tears of the Kingdom or many of the
Alan
other
Wake
games
2.
we've chucked out here. It's ridiculous. This is.
Yeah, I know. That's what the show is, James. I don't know why this has suddenly come to light
Because
now.
of the
Still
fact
be,
that we
this is like the
always get
sixth
to the
one of
point-
these we've
we
done.
always get to the point where whatever indie game you've played, we end up having to vote for like Game of the Year, and it's ridiculous.
That's bollocks. No, that's bollocks.
Well, make a change, James.
Yeah,
Speak
take a
out and
stand.
vote for Alan Wake 2.
James, that's bullshit. What won last
Death's
year?
Door. Was it last year, Death's Door?
No.
Citizen Sleeper,
No,
mate.
it didn't.
That's
Citizen
2020.
Sleeper.
Which is a
I hadn't
fucking
even
banger.
played that game. So let's not talk bollocks. Oh, it's whatever indie game
It's
you
true.
play. No, it's not. We haven't had it before then. Death's Door was one, right? I'll give you
Hades
that.
was another.
But the ones before that was what? Tears of the Kingdom, Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, but like
and-
Death's Door and Hades feel like
Hades,
two of the most
come
unanimous,
on.
like sincere ones we've
Yeah,
seen.
Exactly.
Seriously.
They were very good games, but Cocoon is not on their level, I would argue as well.
I don't agree with that. Cocoon is incredible.
Come on, it's good, but it's not that.
Well, I think you know which way you're voting then.
I don't know, but that's the problem, because I haven't played enough of Alan Wake 2, and I have finished Cocoon.
I mean, you are going to love Alan Wake, though.
You didn't finish
James!
Cocoon.
Oh, wait, you didn't finish Cocoon?
What?
No, I did. Yeah.
Oh, right. Okay.
You literally just said you didn't. So
I said I didn't finish Alan Wake 2.
Yeah, and then you said, and I didn't finish Cocoon.
I did finish Cocoon.
But James, all your speech you just made, brilliant. So then vote your feet and vote.
Shut up, Matt.
Vote Alan Wake 2.
All that speech you made, brilliant.
Right, I'm voting Alan Wake.
Fuck off, Sean.
Yeah, sure.
I'm voting Alan Wake as well.
Yes,
Sean, that's ridiculous.
It's not. Come on.
Really
It
not.
is.
Yeah.
Like, I really love Cocoon,
right?
but like...
Sean, you've done it because all your mates are saying how great Alan Wake is. You've played
And you're
Cocoon.
just saying that
mates
because
say how
you
great
haven't
Cocoon is.
played it, David.
Yeah.
Yeah, but nor have you.
I have. I played more than you have.
streamed 2 hours of it.
He's played 2 hours of it.
How much do you play?
Play for 2 hours.
Right, okay, but I think this is insane.
It's not insane at all.
This is insane.
This is not insane at all.
We've got. Yeah, I know you're going to say that, Matt, but we're giving Game of the Year to a game that only Matt has played all the way through. That what we're saying?
Yeah,
it's a great game.
Yes.
That's what we're saying.
Yes.
Okay.
Just because we've all finished Cocoon doesn't mean we should give a Game of the Year.
we're not.
Okay.
We're not
All
in
right,
a
sure,
Life
yeah.
is Strange situation. It's-
Yeah, I've had friends.
point,
I've
yeah.
had friends that have said they've really liked that game as well. Yeah, I suppose.
Yeah, but you know, all the people who give
us
a shit every year, you mean it's just the game that you all played this year award? It's like, well, guess what? None of us played this.
Guess what? None of us played this
We're
one.
trusting
Brilliant.
Matt.
I know, I'm kidding. No, it's not just about trusting Matt. It's like
Right, listen to yourself, James.
it's what I've
We're
played
doing
and
what?
the things I've read and heard about it have been fascinating.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
I think
I've heard it's a really good game. Let's give it Game of the Year.
I Greg, you agree.
Matt, do you
Let's
wanna-
move on.
I've heard it's
no,
great.
I mean just like the discussion around it has been really interesting, and the things it does.
Thank you.
It's just a beautifully weird game, and I think it's very.
if
cool.
we were voting, right? If I knew we would
For it
vote,
to-
look, it's won, right? It's done. It's done. If I knew we were voting on the discussion around games rather than the games themselves, then Baldur's Gate 3 should have won. That's
No, I
I
take your point. I'm just saying.
Well, I didn't want Alan Wake to win either.
I know
James. Do
you
know what I
wanted
mean?
your indie game darling again to win, but it didn't this time, did it? Fuck you.
Here we go.
You want to just top down indie game, darling?
It never does. It never does. There's been 2 games out of the 6 or 7 that we've done of these that have been indie games that I like. Like, I don't.
To be clear, I'm just saying, like, in the case of Alan Wake, I just obviously in lieu of me not playing as much of it as I would have liked. I'm just saying that. It's like, I'm not saying, like, oh, I've heard this is good. Like, I've loved what I've played of it. I think it's really interesting. And
I'm going to make this one final point, Sean. I'm going to make this one final point about how against I am this decision, like where we've got to, how bad this is, right? You ready for this? Yeah? Alan Wake would have gone out had they not made that deal.
Well,
I mean,
you'll never know
sort of
that.
sums up.
Spider-Man 2 would have got through.
You'll
Alan
never
Wake
know
would have gone
that,
out
David.
first round.
Certain about that.
Of course we know for certain. You both unravelled and went, oh yeah, no, we made this deal.
I
so
said
would vote for-"
nothing about any of that.
So there we go. There we go. Not only have we named a game of the year that only one of us has played through, right? We've also named a game of the year that only went through because Matt made a deal with James. Well done. That's gone. Work up the art, Matt. Work up the artwork.
Come on, Dave. That's funny.
Get that on Twitter.
doodling.
Congratulations. Congratulations.
What?
Do you want to announce it, Matt?
You know, it's
It's a shame
for
to
the
end
reasons
the
that I
show
just
this way.
said.
Got to say.
For the reasons that I just said.
It's supposed to be a
James.
celebration of the best games.
yeah,
not-
yeah.
Yeah, but this has been a horrible year for Game of the Year for us.
But you maybe.
because your personal picks didn't get through. It's a shame, isn't it?
Yeah. Because
Well, they got
Flipperbobble didn't
they
win.
got fucking further than yours, James, I'll tell you that. For starters, you were immune and you barely got to the fucking
I
quarterfinals.
don't care. It's fine.
Okay. TCGS Game of the Year for 2023 is Alan Wake 2. I look forward to the 3 of us playing it at some point and reflecting on that. in the new year.
I genuinely cannot be happier. It's I absolutely love that game, and I hope more people play it. And I can't wait to talk to you all 3 of you once you've played it, maybe over Christmas. Who knows?
fucking listen to that sentence. Game of the year, TCGS. Fuck you. Thank you, everyone, for listening. I've got a hashtag for you.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to be kudos TCGS. So if you've made it this far, hashtag kudos TCGS on wherever you post your stuff. Just so we know that you've finished. Kudos. KUDOS TCGS is the hashtag. I want to see that. Congratulations to Animate 2 that made it all the way to the end, knocking off all the opponents in terrible ways to make it to our Game of the Year. And thank you so much for supporting the show and for listening to us all year round. We hope that you enjoyed this rather strange Game of the Year show. I think it'll be a memorable one.
There's got to be some feedback.
Apart from James, who will not remember this by the time he wakes up in the morning.
Oh, good.
We're just going to get a message from him in the morning. Just, Alan Wake! Fucking
Alan what? When are we back in the new year? Is it are we back on the 10th?
We will be back on I did look it up. Yeah, I think it's the 10th, isn't it? Yeah, so we'll be recording
on Monday the 8th.
Monday the 8th and back on the 10th of January. We hope you have a wonderful Christmas and a very happy New Year. And if you don't give a shit about Christmas or the New Year, I hope you have a wonderful time regardless.
Yeah. I just want to say, if I can, thanks to everyone who came to TCGS Con in the year, and not just that, everyone who supported us on Patreon and bought merch and to go on Discord, listened to the show, commented, shared stuff. It means the world. We still can't really get our heads around so many of you listening and sharing it. It means the world to us. So thank you everyone who's taken the time to do it this year. It means the world to us.
100%.
Yes.
I look forward to the three of you playing it in the new year.
We're going to love it. It's fine. It's great. It's fine.
Yeah.
We'll catch you in the new year. Take it easy, everyone. We love you.
Ta-ra.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.